winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome into the 2022 NFL Draft, the fourth annual live stream. And I don't know if it was live all four times, but I do know that this is the fourth year that we have done this. And it is always a good time with our buddies from the Westlot Pirates. You can find them at westlottpirates.com or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Gentlemen, we have already got multiple picks in, and it feels fantastic already. This thing has gone off the rails a little bit. Not exactly what everybody was expecting even just a week ago, even just a few days ago. We have got our first wide receiver off the board. Let's go ahead and roll through the picks that we've got thus far, and then I will let everybody else talk. The Jags take Travon Walker. The Lions take Aiden Hutchinson. The Texans take cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. from LSU. That's right, Mr. Chris. The Jets jumped in with Sauce Gardner. The Giants take Kayvon Thibodeau. The Panthers at number 6 take offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu. And the Giants have taken offensive tackle Evan Neal. And I believe that the Falcons just took, who do we say, Drake London? Drake London. All right, let me update the ticker here. Gentlemen, let's start off with you, John. Thoughts so far? It's, I think it was before that, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes, he did. Oh, I've got no idea anymore. I mean, no clue. Drake London going as the first wide receiver taken after missing most of the season this year. We all knew he was talented. Has been for a long, long time. I mean, he's unbelievable. But, yeah, this is strange, interesting. But I guess if you're looking for the most talent, I mean, it goes to show Derek Stingley hadn't played for basically 2 years. Drake London played, 7 games this year? No, 6 games this year? Something like that. Injuries don't matter. Like, if you got the talent and you have put it on film somewhere, they are going to draft you, and they do not care. Oh, yes.
Yeah. But real quick, the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock right now, except that with the number 9 pick, the Denver Broncos select Russell Wilson. That's right.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Most certainly. And now the Seahawks pick looks to be in. We don't have it just yet. But, yeah, we had multiple people saying that they could not hear anybody but me. But that should be fixed now.
Well, that's it. Listen, you're in charge of that, Captain.
I know. I got it fixed now. Now. We should be good. Should not have an issue.
If you're seeing the Seahawks pick is in, then y'all are because I'm seeing they still have 3 minutes on the clock on my stream.
I'm looking at the ESPN draft tracker, and then
I'm not watching that. I'm watching the live stream.
I got 3 or 4 windows open here. I'm just sort of multitasking.
That's what I'm doing.
If my audio was off, I can't stress enough that the things that I said were life-altering, ground-shaking things.
I mean, you might as well
everybody missed those. The 3 gentlemen on the screen with me, they're all changed by what I said, and now everyone else missed out.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, those 3 minutes. That's pretty important stuff.
Yeah. The other thing we should mention is, so last year, I mean, obviously, Westlaw Pirates were Northwestern guys. Last year was a special draft for us, right? We were coming off a West title. We had 2 guys go in the first 15 picks of the draft. No, when did
20?
Greg go?
25.
Yeah,
no, yeah,
25.
The Browns took him late.
Yeah. And since then, we won a field hockey national title.
Yep.
There you go.
So we won a field hockey national title. It's a big deal. That's what we should focus on. We don't need to talk about football fields since that point.
We're not talking about football anymore.
Our lacrosse team is ranked top 5. Our softball team is ranked top 10.
Right.
Oh,
exactly.
That's too good.
Non-revenue sports and women's basketball have been fantastic.
Yeah, Veronica Burton taken with the number 7 pick overall.
Right. Exactly. I'm just saying that there are some Northwestern fans tuning in right now who, are looking to drown their sorrows, and we're here. We're happy to help. And we should point out too, right? Exactly. Raise a glass to Rashawn Slater and Greg Newsome, who got drafted and then went out and kicked ass last year. So
not just raise a glass. Greg Newsome might have been the best player in that draft so far. I mean, it could be him or Jamar Chase, and I think that's the list of like the most impactful out of that draft year 1. So 5 years from now, it might not be the same, but last year, Slater was undoubtedly better than Penei Sewell, who everyone had consensus first. So you brought up, John, in your spiel that everybody missed about like some things went out of order, and I just don't think there is an order at all in this draft. And if you have any concept of I think this guy should go here or this guy should go there, I just think that's wild to try to go into this draft and put them in order. That just looks like walking onto a farm full of chickens and trying to figure out where they all belong when they all just scatter. Like there's nowhere to put them.
And I wonder how much that's going to impact any trades, because we're on pick number 10 and there haven't been any trades so far.
Yeah, that's a little strange, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, not necessarily.
I mean, you need a trade partner. Yeah, you need a partner to be able to trade. And I don't know that anybody feels like the top of this draft is life-altering talent, right?
No. Yeah, and I think like this is going to be the kind of draft where teams fall like there's not guys that everyone falls in love with, but there are guys that a team falls in love with. So then you're not going to have trade partners because teams are going to be like, yeah, I want this guy, and everyone else is like, well, good luck with that. But yeah, no, it's funny. Like we're looking, and I've been kind of trying to break down. Okay, well, of the guys we saw, right? Like the guys we saw Northwestern play, who were the guys that jumped out to us, or like guys I saw on TV, guys that jumped out to me. And it's funny. I mean, like my list definitely like a Jameson Williams. I mean, we're talking about guys, electric wide receivers who got hurt. Like, to me, Jameson Williams is right at the top. Like Nakobe Dean. And then for me personally, you know, in person or on TV, and I, you know, we had, and Sam also saw him in person. George Karlaftis is an absolute terror. And we saw him for several years, but I think there's a lot of people coming to us being like, hey, Aiden Hutchinson, you saw Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, I saw him. He was great. We watched Aiden Hutchinson several times. Great. George Karlaftis, effing terrifying.
Hey, by the way, let me interrupt you right quick. Did you see all the guys when they came out? I guess it was like 6:30-ish, somewhere around there, where all the guys that are in person at the draft all were introduced, and they walked out, and they stood in the line and all that. Everybody else had on like these new stylish suits and all this kind of stuff. Karlaftis came out and looked like he came straight from the Naval Academy. Like, he was dressed like head not shaved all the way, but, you know, buzz cut, and had like just the most basic suit that you could possibly wear, and didn't look happy. Didn't look. I mean, he was all business. He was the only one.
Yeah. No, I mean he's all business.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Guy is, I mean, he is I think of the comp that I think of, and again, I think Karlaftis is the better football player, but Chase Winovich, when he played Northwestern, was absolutely terrifying in terms of just energy level and everything he was doing, trying to double and trying to triple him. Karlaftis was the exact same thing. So it's like Hutchinson, it's funny because all the hype he's gotten in the draft, when we played Michigan, they wouldn't shut up about Aiden Hutchinson from the jump through the entire game. And it's like Hutchinson is, I mean, he's the real deal. Like, he deserves to go really, really high. I'm just telling you from our vantage point, I didn't see. But, I mean, it's like Williams, Nakobe Dean, George Karlaftis. These are guys that, like, I like them as much as I like hardly any of these guys. And they're all going to be available, like, what, in the 20s?
Yeah, in the 20s.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean may not make it in the first round based on nothing other than he's 5'11", 235, and he didn't run. That's it.
Right.
Like, he's going to be a steal in this draft. Just based on, like, that's, Chris, you and I have talked about this a ton. Why we have to have the combine stuff and everything else, I just do not understand. We have film on these guys. We've got the GPS stats. We've got all that. How guys like Trayvon Walker, for example, yes, he is an absolute nightmare to deal with. But the fact that he would jump over Hutchinson based on nothing more than his combine results, like, I don't think that was all of it.
I don't believe that that's. I don't.
But that's what everybody says.
I don't believe that was any of it. That's my opinion. I don't believe that was any of it.
I mean, he did
now,
test
you can
well.
Call me wrong on that.
But yeah,
I mean, if we look at the film, if you just look at the film, okay, one guy was both of them were monsters all year, but at some point in time, they both played the best team that they were going to play. And Walker played Michigan and then played Alabama and had unbelievable games. Hayden went against Georgia, a great offensive line, and kind of got shut down. And so at some point in time, that has to matter when looking at films. And you're splitting hairs. I think Hayden's a great player, and he's going to be great in the NFL. But if I'm looking at – I want the guy that was a monster against other monsters, because when you get into the NFL, that's what you're playing week in and week out.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the combine that jumped Walker up. I think at some point in time, somebody looked at film and said, what the hell are we talking about? This son of a bitch right here can't be stopped by anyone.
I got to jump in here. I'm sorry. The Jets just took Garrett Wilson from Ohio State.
Yes,
and
they did.
ESPN was doing a package on comparing Garrett Wilson to Lynn Swann. I'm sorry.
Jesus,
pump the brakes, people. Like,
so we totally missed the fact that the Seahawks took Charles Cross, a Mississippi State boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mississippi guy.
Which is interesting.
So we didn't even talk about that offensive line. That's Pete Carroll just wants to run the football. He's got a shitty quarterback now, so he can run the football all he wants.
That's his options.
and I'm thinking, like, if Denver doesn't make that trade, who is there for the Broncos who makes sense for the Broncos? And, like, Charles Cross is not going, like, Denver doesn't need.
No, it's not an offensive lineman. It's probably an edge rusher, maybe. Because you just can't have enough of those guys. No, I mean, I watched the greatest football team that the undefeated Patriots go up against the Giants, and they just threw for like 5 years straight. Their first round pick was just defensive line, edge rusher, and everybody was like, "What are you doing?" And then they go up against the greatest offense that I've ever seen in my life, and they just threw guy after guy after guy after guy at Tom Brady, and there was nothing he could do. There was nothing that offensive line can do. If you have an embarrassment of riches, okay, if you really don't have a need or a hole, just take the best defensive line or a defensive edge rusher you can get, because you can't have enough of those guys. They rotate in, and they're just super valuable. That's who I think the Broncos would have taken, because, Sam, I don't know that y'all have much of a hole anywhere.
I tend to agree. By the way, welcome, Scuzz.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, buddy.
I was so worried that Scuzz wouldn't get on before the Vikings took Malik Willis, and thank goodness he's here. Wouldn't want to.
I know that's not happening, but I'm prepared if it does.
The funeral arrangements in Pittsburgh that must be being made. We still got like 10 picks till we get there, but Lord have mercy.
So I gotta ask us, who do you want?
Can we just like make a reasonable pick? That's all I care.
Well, so the Saints.
But what is that? What is reasonable?
Traded up to
number 11,
Washington. So Saints are now on the clock. Are they going quarterback here? I mean, not that the Vikings are looking quarterback, but
the Vikings better not look quarterback is all I'm going to say. I would love a corner, especially with all these wide receivers going kind of unexpectedly in the top 12. That feels like there's a good cornerback. Kyle Hamilton would be an awesome pick for the Vikings. Now that's a very Mike Zimmer pick, but it seems like we're still living in the Mike Zimmer era. Like nothing has changed. So
the Saints could draft Willis and play him at tight end. They've got a good track record. In case they could run it back.
Let's see. Oh, by the way, in the chat here, McKinnon said, "Here comes the wide receiver run." Let's see. Patrick Houston said, "How does Hutchinson compare against the Bosa brothers?" And I mean, you look at him; he could be a Bosa brother. Yeah, like he could be
not
Aiden
comparable.
Bosa.
I
don't think
he's good.
Yeah,
I would
think
take
he's close.
both the Bosa guys 100 times over 100.
Denver Gator said he's here for the love chat. Bring it on, Chris.
That's right. That'll be later.
Yep. McKinnon jumped in, said, I was wondering when Scuzz was going to make an appearance. Welcome, man. So, very nice.
Children are a blessing and a curse.
I can understand it.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see. Like, we've had one dog so far. I'm waiting to see how many kids we get at some point. Oh, there he is, right there.
Oh, it's a 50-50 proposition. That I'm going to have to leave again. And it'll probably happen right as the Vikings announce their pick.
More than likely.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah. But it's funny, the Hutchinson thing, though, the thing about Hutchinson compared to the Bosa brothers, that kind of sums it up for me, is that, like, yeah, either Bosa brother is a god in this draft. It's not that kind of draft. There's plenty of guys to be had, and especially late first round, like we were talking about. I mean, hell, like again, like a guy like Carl Loftus could go 25 and then be like a multiple time Pro Bowler. So, but I mean, if you're for guys at the top, I mean, I think a lot of these teams, at least like Hutchinson, he's a really solid player. Walker, I think, could be a really solid player too. I mean, it's like at least you're not pegging yourself to one of the quarterbacks in this draft that high, which would be a nightmare. But
this is where I can't handle that. I don't know. I don't understand why you think the quarterbacks are that bad.
Let's do it.
I did a draft where Josh Rosen was taken, and everybody on this thing thought Josh Rosen was going to be great. Why in the hell do we think that it's just all of a sudden these other guys are going to be trash? Guys are trash every year. Sam Darnold is hot garbage. Baker Mayfield is weird.
I mean, Josh Rosen was trash though, and like that doesn't there are a lot of these guys. I don't know. I mean, again, you're right. I mean, there's probably a chance at the end of the day that one of these guys hits. I just can't tell you who it is. I think
this is before we went live. I told you guys I believe that there's a better chance that 4 of these quarterbacks make their second contract. That's the word. They're starting to kick in, and we will see how that affects things here, because I don't think 3 quarterbacks from that Baker, Rosen, Sam draft are going to make their second contract. Them, Lamar and Josh Allen are absolute studs, are absolute stars. We might not have a star, but if we get 4 quarterbacks in this draft that make it to their second contract, that are making playoff runs with certain teams, or have their teams, that's that.
I'm Chris freezing for everybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious which QBs you have, Chris, because I have like.
I think Matt Corral.
Ooh, I think Matt
Corral is the best quarterback in this draft. I think Matt Corral is the best quarterback in this draft, and I think in 3 years from now, we're all going to look back and say Chris was right. And then I think Desmond Ridder is really good. Really good.
Define best. Like, does Corral have the highest ceiling for you? The highest floor? The best chance?
I think he has the highest floor and the highest ceiling.
Okay.
I think he has a chance to be a star. Listen. I live 45 minutes away from where this guy played, all right? That team would not have made a bowl game, all right? They would not have been 6-6 without Corral. They do not have another professional player on the roster at Ole Miss that he played with this year, all right? And he took them to 10 wins in the SEC West, a thing that has never happened in the history of Ole Miss, all right? That's a big deal. And guys that take bad teams to heights that we've never seen before usually do great, not good, great at the NFL level.
So the Saints are taking Chris Olave.
It's the run on wide receivers.
The aforementioned run, not just a run on receivers, but on guy receivers. Again, Chris, it's one of those things where I wonder about any inside intel relative to injuries or whatever, and it probably means nothing. I would take Jameson Williams over every other. There's guys who are fast, and there are guys who are, Williams to me is one of those guys where I'm just like, he just is a different level of speed than everybody else. But it's funny, with the quarterbacks, I guess you could talk me into just about anything across any of the QBs and be like, yeah, maybe Pickett will be the best. I'd be like, sure. Maybe Corral will be the best. Sure. Maybe Ridder will be the best. Sure. I'm not very much against any of that, because all of my hot takes are all just put in one quarterback basket, which is like, I'm not 100% sure Malik Willis is a Power 5 quarterback. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Like, had he stayed at Auburn, I kind of leaning against he never starts at Auburn.
I've seen some really bad quarterbacks in the SEC.
Yes,
be pretty good. Malik Willis is better than 80% of the quarterbacks that played in the SEC last year.
Here's the thing, Malik Willis.
So that's an insane comment.
He definitely has the highest ceiling of these QBs, in my opinion, but the least likelihood of hitting it. I'm not being hyperbolic here. First of all, you talked earlier about the combine. He didn't run. And he didn't run at his pro day either. Because
but hang on. Does he need to run? Does he need to run?
Because
we watched him run
fast on tape, except for the part where he took way more sacks than anybody else. Okay, if he runs in a sprint against Lamar Jackson dusts him.
Vikings just traded down with Detroit.
Oh, interesting.
Detroit had 32.
Though. Does Detroit, you know, they're going to reach for a quarterback there. But
doubtful.
I'm just like, Willis, to me, his upside is crazy strong arm. There, I finish. I don't. There's lots of that guy.
There's a lot of Jamarcus Russell to the evaluation of him. So first of all, too, like, no aspersions against Willis's character or anything. Sounds like a great guy. Like, Jamarcus had all those on-field, off-field things, and yet there was a little part of me that was hoping Willis would go that high to get Jamarcus off the shelf as being that ultimate bust, because Willis is, to me, I know it's like, again, I feel like all my hot takes are baked into one guy in this draft. We should move on until he gets drafted. But I think, like, this to me is the opposite of your hot take on Johnny Football, where you were hot taking the opposite direction.
So we talked about this. So I apologize for my hot take that the Heisman Trophy winner who cooked Alabama and played all the best teams in the country was going to be good in the pros. I know it was a scalding hot take, but the juxtaposition is, like, Willis, he didn't play anybody. He played a bad Virginia Tech team.
Yeah.
A so-so North Carolina State team that cooked him. An Ole Miss team that was a good football team with a bad defense that handled him.
I will tell you this. Every good defense that he went up against, his numbers dramatically decreased. So, yes, Jamal, by the way. Oh,
Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But for every Josh Allen, there's always, you know, guys that are reached for that do not reach that, right? So,
and we talked about that too, yeah.
Jamal Cooper jumped in on the YouTube chat. He said, first off, it makes sense that Jamison Williams was behind all these Ohio State guys. Certainly makes sense. And number two, he said, I'm from Montgomery. I heard Malik Willis beat Bo Nix out in the spring, but Bo was the legacy at Auburn. And I will tell you, as SEC guys, Chris and I have talked about this a lot. We heard the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we heard all of it. Bo Nix was never not going to be the starter.
Was because Bo was never not going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Well, Bo Nix didn't get the start because of how good he was?
There's Jamison Williams.
No. Right? No. Is that who the Lions just took?
That's what it's looking like, yeah.
Unbelievable. The run on wide receivers.
So much faster than me.
I don't have it on mine, but I'm streaming.
I don't like it.
Twitter, my friends. Twitter. Like I said,
I don't like the Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
No, I don't do that shit.
Sam, you got to get off the Twitter.
Sam. No, letting them tip picks. That's bullshit. Some Adam Schefter bullshit. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Elon's feeding me the information here. I'm getting straight from Elon.
No, he's not. He's not a football fan.
He could be eventually.
Hang on.
Like, I don't think the Vikings are a bad franchise to own. I don't know what the connection to Minnesota would be. I don't think the Wilfs are going anywhere. This is
a rich guy coming in to throw around a bunch of money, man.
But that's what the Wilfs are. They're billionaires, but they're cheap.
How does Elon Musk?
But that's a problem.
But how does Elon Musk feel about chickens? That's the real question. Gotta know.
I'm pretty sure I could guess, but I bet he doesn't own much in Iowa yet.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's not a chicken man, so I mean, he's okay with the protest. He's not a fan of the nervous bird.
Is Jamison. There we go.
Yep, not bad.
Wow, they moved up from 32 to take Jamison.
32, and they gave up the
32, 34, and another late pick.
And the second round.
That's a heck of a core of young wideouts too. Like, they've got Amon-Ra and him, right?
Yeah.
Those are two. I mean, again, like, Amon-Ra was another guy awesome in college who just didn't get the chance to play on the kind of teams Williams got the chance to play on, which I don't think was in his plan when he picked USC. But those are two young dudes that can. Well, Ra's fast. Williams is. I mean, this dude is.
Oh, he's a speed demon.
Unbelievably fast.
He is.
And now Philly is on the clock, so Houston just traded back So of all the trades that were not happening early, now we're getting all these trades.
Boy, this is interesting. McKinnon jumped in. He said, "I bet the Eagles pick Burks." Do we think they would take Burks that early?
Wow. I don't want him. I love Burks. I don't want him to go to Philly though.
Yeah, I don't know.
What if they take Malik because they've made it clear we want to have a lot of quarterbacks, and we're all pretty sure they're not sold on Hurts.
Let's put it this way, Sam, Chris. I definitely don't disagree, like in principle, with your idea about the second contract thing. But I'll tell you, one of those dudes ain't going to be Malik Willis.
See, this is what I'm saying. Your argument against him is he can't beat the fastest quarterback that we've ever had that might not be named Michael Vick
my
in a
argument
foot race.
Against him
like, that's insane to me. Like, that's
my
not
argument
enough.
against him, he can't throw over the middle. He can't throw right. He takes way more sacks than everybody else.
You're saying a lot of things that he can't do because you didn't see him do them, all right? I'm certain that he's capable of learning how to do these things because he's kind of a freak athlete, and I don't think he's a moron.
Right now, Spencer Rattler and to a larger extent, Hunter Johnson are like, oh my God, if we would have just gone to Liberty for the past couple of years, we could be top 5 NFL draft picks.
Well, so long as they had played for Hugh Freeze.
Spencer Rattler is a moron. See, this is where we disagree. One guy can't read, and the other one seems to be like a pretty sharp guy.
The other one can't read defenses.
That's my issue here is Malik Willis. Like, yes, there are a lot of things to like about him, but there's also a lot when you look at the tape. Like, I mean, the turnovers last year, him throwing those interceptions was a problem. Like
I just think y'all are focused on the wrong thing. His tape doesn't matter. Like what he did or didn't do at Liberty against who he did or didn't do it again is doesn't matter. What the NFL GM see, whether we agree with it or not, is the possibility to create Josh Allen all over again. Yeah. And now that is or Justin Herbert, frankly. That's a rare thing that a guy makes a leap like that going to the next level. But that's the drug that is being smoked right now, and the value you get out of a QB on that rookie contract. It's too worth it.
Do y'all remember
that risk reward?
Oh,
Even if Malik is as bad as you think, John, it's still worth the risk of a first-round draft pick.
But it's still worth that gamble.
And in this situation, now we're looking at we're at what 13 now. So now
we're in the zone.
Yeah,
we're in the zone.
So you get the guy with a first-round pick. It means you're getting that extra year option. So someone that's why the Ravens traded back into the first round to get Lamar, right? Because they wanted that extra year option. Now, maybe you're Daniel Jones and you don't get that extra year picked up, or maybe you're in a different like. It makes sense that Malik would go to a situation where he doesn't need to jump in right away, right? You put him on the bench, you back him up for a couple years, and groom him into what you want him to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean I agree. I agree with you. I agree with Scuzz in terms of like that's what they think and that's what they're gonna do. This part of this all started because like I just couldn't resist calling a guy from Liberty who's in this situation Trey Lance because he's Trey Lance to me in so many ways, and also from Liberty. But that's the flip side, right? Is like how many years has Trey Lance been on the bench now? And it's still like these questions of is he
he's been on the bench for a decade.
Just one? It was just last year. Oh yeah,
you got drafted last year.
Yeah,
Jesus
you're
Christ,
right.
how drunk were you?
You're right.
I'm making big jokes at the end of this thing, and I remember it.
Right, my bad. Last year, but this idea that I don't think he's going to start this year. Like I think it's going to be Jimmy.
Okay.
And
all right.
And like I guess like my point is like I just don't like I don't know when he's going to see the field.
But who cares?
He's growing. Like I don't.
Hang on. You're comparing once again. You're making a comparison to a guy that's going to go bottom 15 in the first round to a guy that they traded 3 first-round drafts to move up to the second overall pick to get. Like that's a bullshit comparison, John. You're the smartest guy I know, and you're making dumb arguments. I'm a moron, and I know this doesn't make sense.
No, so you're right. I mean, because a lot of this was baked into because like the elephant in the room here, right, is we still don't know when he's going to go. And
that's right.
And he didn't end up going high. And it could be that because there's been so much smoke and again,
but no quarterback went high, so we have to compare him to the other quarterbacks that he gets taken around, right?
Right.
So, like, if he's the first quarterback off the board, that's a pretty strong, statement saying that GMs believe him to be the first quarterback or the best quarterback out of this draft class, whatever it is.
Sounds like the Eagles are taking Jordan Davis.
Get off Twitter. Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah, put it away, Sammy. Put it away.
What? They're showing it.
No, they're not. I'm watching ESPN right now.
They're not showing it yet.
They're showing anything.
Chris's pink elephants don't want to hear about your Twitter.
No, I don't like tipping picks. We're watching this thing for a reason. I hate the guys that tip the picks. I just hate those people. They serve no purpose to society whatsoever, but for some reason ESPN feels the need to pay them gazillions of dollars to serve no purpose.
This is Nicole Auerbach.
Their services do not matter.
This is Nicole Auerbach.
Yeah, so we like.
Well, then why is she tipping picks? Stop it. You're better than that.
The pick's been in for like 5 minutes.
I mean, it has shown the pick is in for a long time.
Let Roger Goodell tell us the pick, or some special needs kid come out here and tell us the pick. All right.
I was gonna say, if you have asked me who do I want to tell me the pick, Roger Goodell or Nicole Auerbach, that's a pretty.
I'd rather it be Nicole, but tell me on the TV when everybody hears at the exact same time.
I do like that idea.
We should mention too, right, that through kind of fate, I guess like 10-part organization and 90% fate, we're all on internet feeds, I think, right? So
yes.
A lot of you are probably seeing the picks a few seconds before we see the picks, but at least we're all seeing it.
I've got my ESPN app up too, though, like not
the tracker,
not stream, just the tracker, and it says nothing. So
it still says pick. Yeah, it says the pick is in on the CBS tracker, but it doesn't give us a pick yet.
How like who all are you getting these from, Sam?
Oh, Nicole Auerbach. He just told
Nicole Auerbach, Michael Lombardi.
Are you listening?
Okay. No, I know Nicole Auerbach. I just is like, how would she be that tied into every pick? So that's why I was saying, like, who else is?
She's a hell of a journal.
Michael Lombardi, Andrew Brandt.
Gary, we can't tip this stuff to you, but we're really, really plugged in. Okay, we don't want to.
Y'all got connections everywhere.
Who our connections are, okay.
The Northwestern Illuminati here.
His name rhymes with nice tube, and he's really close to the stage wearing a Raiders jersey. But I can't tell you anything more than that. But he's really.
I thought he might have broken the microphone when he got up there earlier.
Man, when I was listening, I thought he was dropping F-bombs and everything else. I was like,
oh, maybe that's why the microphone seemed like it went out.
Well, yeah, because he was doing like everybody say yeah, and he said everybody say fuck yeah. I'm like, can you say that?
I'm gonna. Did you just like quietly say it as if the people listening couldn't hear you?
No, I've got a room.
We can hear you.
I got a room full of suburban white women in there, man. Like,
okay. No.
Give me an hour.
My daughter's trying to sleep like 6 feet from me, and I was just swearing.
Give me an hour, and I will have more of this down, and I'll be perfectly fine.
All right, it's now up on ESPN's DraftCast. Are we happy?
Yes.
Roger's announcing something, but
CBS.
He ain't announced it yet. So as far as I'm concerned,
The Athletic has posted it.
CBS still hasn't posted it.
Jordan Davis.
But it's been on our tracker for a while
Jordan
now.
Davis. I got it.
So I'm going to ask this question because
Fire away.
I missed obviously none of us were on at the very beginning of the draft, but then presumably y'all talked about the number 1 overall pick. Travon Walker from Georgia. I feel like there's a similar story here with Davis of not are they going to be successful in the NFL, because I think they're both going to be very successful in the NFL, but they played somewhat limited snaps at Georgia because of the depth there. They're getting asked to play more at the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Any concerns with that?
No.
Spending this type of capital?
That is miles not on the tires.
Exactly.
Okay? That's a good thing in my eyes, not a bad thing.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
In today's world of of these guys are overworked and whatever. The game is faster, stronger, hit harder than they've ever hit. Like, that's a good thing to me.
That's a very fair point.
So it's interesting to bring it up though, because it brings me back to Karlaftis again, right? Which is that interesting thing of a guy who gets less reps in a stacked defense versus a guy who sees doubles and triples every snap, right? And not only that, but Karlaftis, I mean, his numbers, they don't compare to Hutchinson's numbers. And Hutchinson got a lot more help on that line. I mean, he had like another, going to be NFL draft pick, high NFL draft pick lineman on the opposite side of the line. But not only did Karlaftis get no help, he basically got buried. Who's the DC last year? Why am I blanking on his name? Scuzz, Notre Dame's finest. We're blanking on his name. But yeah. But the Purdue's DC last year switched to a 3-4 and buried Karlaftis. Karlaftis is many things. A 3-4 end is not one of them. And he just was basically put on the moon last year. In that,
were you trying to think of Marcus Freeman, the new head coach?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, wait a minute, what?
Diaco?
Bob Diaco.
Bob Diaco.
Who when we were Googling about, like, we were previewing Purdue going into 2021 or 2020, and we were looking at Bob Diaco and trying to figure out if he was truly installing a 3-4 out of nowhere at Purdue, right? And we Googled Bob Diaco 3-4 and the article at Purdue, and the article that came up was when Bob Diaco was at Nebraska and changed Nebraska's defense.
Whoa.
And it was,
we just lost Scuzz's mic.
Sorry, he's back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Got too many people trying to do this shit.
Well, anyways, it was really funny.
I vote that we do it in person next year. We can rent like a cabin in Gatlinburg, because that's my favorite place to hang out. But that's whatever. You guys have families and you're too good of parents.
Anyway, Bob Diaco has been a shitty defensive coordinator for a long time.
Right.
He buried George Karlaftis, which is an insane thing to do.
Right. Like, and Karlaftis basically had no numbers last year through no fault of his own. And when you look at how good he is, but it's funny because it's funny to just juxtapose and be like, like, what do you take? What do you go with? Right. Because George was just so stacked this year. Right. Think of a guy, albeit, I guess he's going to go next year and he's going to go super high. So I guess it's a bad comparison, but like a Tim Williams, right? Or not Tim Williams. Who's the guy? No, last year, the year before, who was the pass rush specialist for Bama? Why am I blanking on his name?
You talking about this year?
It's Williams.
Who is it?
Williams.
Yeah.
No.
And just like,
you talking about Will Anderson?
Will Anderson.
Yeah.
That's it.
Will
something.
What?
Yeah. And but a guy like that, right?
It's
not just like a specialist, right? Who's used in that super specialist role, but on an absolutely stacked defense versus a guy who's got to do everything. I mean, there's no like hard and fast rule. Like, I mean, both of those guys are sweet, but
no, you're right. You're right. The next one for Alabama is.
I'd like to shit on another point that John made earlier when talking about.
Bring it.
When talking about like he's a 3-4, but he doesn't do well there. So he's got to, like, a guy can't be a beast. He can't be a monster. And because of the format that you run on defense, like, well, he just can't play in that system. I just think that's bullshit. I think that's complete bullshit.
A 3-4 end is practically a defensive tackle. Karlaftis is many things. He's just not 300 pounds. Like, he's not. Like,
but if you're a monster, if you're a first-round pick, if you're a monster, then you got to be able to play.
If you put Travon Walker at 3-4 end, you're not going to see a heck of a lot of production out of it.
Nick Bosa.
Bullshit.
Oh, I don't agree.
Bullshit.
I'm with Chris.
Where you put him on the field, nobody's running his direction. It does not matter if you put him on the edge, put him in the middle, whatever. They ain't running in his gap.
Travon Walker played like 190 snaps at linebacker. He played like 283 at defensive end, and then he played like 380 something. No, it was over 400 inside. So he's like, he played everywhere. Like, he's insanely good. He did not have the production this year, but if you just look at one-on-one battles, like, he destroyed people. Like Travon Walker is awesome, but he only had 8 sacks.
Between a guy being a real monster who can play anywhere, and a guy who's a system guy, and they could be a star. They could play in the league for a long time, but they can only be good in certain situations. Those guys aren't monsters. That's the difference between first overall, or top 5 guy, and a bottom 20 guy.
I guess. I don't know.
So why did Randy Moss suck as a Raider?
Because he didn't give a shit. Randy Moss was only bad at places where he didn't want to be good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the list. Because outside of an absolute freak and possibly the greatest football player of all time, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss is the most unstoppable weapon I've ever seen on a football field.
I mean, he didn't care half the time in Minnesota, and he was
still great. He was still great, but he had a quarterback that could throw the ball deep, and so he could half-ass run by DBs and catch the deep ball for touchdowns. Yeah. He didn't have that in Oakland.
The Ravens, by the way,
wherever the hell Oakland was playing it, the Raiders were playing at that time.
Let me dive in here. The Ravens take Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame, who might be, pound for pound the best player in this draft. I mean, got an absolute steal with getting him at 14. But I will say this.
This is a perfect example of what we were just talking about.
Yes.
Because if you're a team, if you try to use Kyle Hamilton like Jamal Adams, he is not going to be good.
Agreed.
No, because Jamal Adams he's a quarterback sacking. He's a blitzing safety. He's not a cover safety. Yes. He's a run stopping blitzing safety. They're different.
It's a perfect example of what we were just talking about.
Yep.
Because this system, the way that the Ravens are going to use Hamilton is going to maximize what you get out of him, and he's going to be a monster and worth every element, like every molecule of this pick.
Are y'all surprised at that? Did anybody else see that stat? This is the highest drafted Notre Dame player since 1994. Wow.
I mean, but that doesn't surprise me because they can't look at the talent that's been coming from the elite football programs.
Yeah.
There's a reason Notre Dame can make it to the playoffs, but then when they get there, they get housed by 40 because they just can't get that top 15 talent that's going to get drafted.
So if you're Notre Dame, which stings worse, that you haven't had a guy drafted that high since 94 or that it was Rick Mirer? Which hurts worse?
Who drafted old Rick?
I was about to say I'm gonna bet nobody on the planet. Rick Meyer's family didn't know that he was the last guy drafted.
Was he the Seahawks?
So hold on, this is nonsense. So it would have to be the highest drafted defensive player because Quentin Nelson went 6th overall. And Mike McGlinchey went 9th overall.
Oh yeah, that's got to be it.
Defensive.
Okay.
Yeah, chicanery. I don't care. No, I don't like. I don't like when you put like little subtitles to make something special.
So the other.
Ronnie Staley went 6th to the Ravens. So this is just a defensive. The last defensive player drafted close was Harrison Smith at 29 in 2012, which is ironic because this is basically Harrison Smith reincarnate.
If Joker didn't have the medical issues, he would have been higher.
Yeah. Well, the other piece of it too is, I mean, it's not to cast aspersions at Notre Dame really because they've had a great defense over the past couple of years. They just get a lot of it done with depth and whatever. Yeah. They just haven't had a lot.
It's depth and scheming. They've also had some of the best defensive coaching we've seen in the country for the past decade.
Yeah.
True.
Speaking of which, we cannot let the Kyle Hamilton pick go by without talking about who Notre Dame is replacing Kyle Hamilton.
Before we get there, can I make one other more interesting Notre Dame stat? So,
okay, go ahead.
Since that 1994 draft, the other defensive players drafted out of Notre Dame, first round, Jerry Tillery, Harrison Smith, and 1997 Ronaldo Wynn.
That's interesting.
3 defensive players drafted in the first round in the last 20 years out of Notre Dame. That's crazy. Not 25 years.
Kenyon Green, offensive lineman out of A&M, goes at number 15 to the Texans.
Some more news from the Ravens.
I saw this trade.
Just traded Hollywood Brown to the Cardinals.
Yeah. Now, what's the rest of that trade, though?
We don't know the compensation yet.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know yet. They hadn't reported it.
They already had like the most draft capital. Now they get more.
I mean, my God.
Well, they might not have traded for draft capital.
Kenyon Green, by the way, is this a? I mean, this is a bit of a reach, right? Like, he was one of the lowest graded. Like, obviously, he's got all of the. Like, he's got the size and all that, and you see him, and he can whip guys. He's a big old boy. But as far as actual ratings go,
Gary, are you suggesting that Lovie Smith and the Houston Texans organization had faulty reasoning here? Is that what you're suggesting?
I don't know that I have seen many grades that had Kenyon Green higher or any higher than like 22, 23, somewhere around there.
That's where I'm seeing him as 22. I mean,
it's not a huge reach, but there were a lot of mocks that didn't even have him in the first round because of how low his grade was.
Listen, we could try to compare him to the other guys. We just don't know. I'm going to tell you this: he's head and shoulders better than every offensive lineman on that offensive line that's not named Larry Tunsil. All right.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The 5 of us might be able to compete for offensive linemen there. All right. And I'm completely useless. So
Hollywood Brown and pick 100 to the Cardinals for number 23.
So hang on. What is the wide receiving core at Arizona look like right now?
Hopkins.
Do we have a depth chart with them?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Did they lose some people in the offseason? Because I know they got Nuke still. I know they got a boy from Purdue.
Yeah, Rondale Moore. They don't have.
I mean, it feels like that they're trying to placate brain fart right now.
Kyler
Murray.
Yeah,
with a guy who he played with at Oklahoma.
Oh, they did lose AJ Green, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but AJ Green, they didn't really lose AJ Green. AJ Green wasn't very good last year. AJ Green was
a great call, though.
Jamal jumped in.
Brown are probably close.
Christian Kirk went to Jacksonville.
Right.
But I mean, you still got Rondale Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, and
now Hollywood Brown.
Now Hollywood Brown. I mean, that's a pretty loaded 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
If you can get it, this is probably going to be the best we're going to see Hollywood because they just haven't been. Like, he has not been good at all for Baltimore. To be a guy that was supposed to be a speed guy, he cannot separate, and he's definitely not big enough to go up and get it. But when he's the third banana, I mean, he could probably put up some big numbers there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, this is not just placating Murray, in my opinion, either, because that team has been electric on offense for the first 8 games of the year for the last
and then they
season.
Nosedive.
They fall off the cliff. They've got to figure that out because it's their identity. It's the only thing they have going for them.
That's fine. That's all well and good. That is what you're going to get when you take a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, who has never been able to beat anybody for an entire season with X's and O's. Okay. He didn't do it in college. We just assume that he's going to come to the pros and be great. I don't understand that when you get to the second half of the season, when everybody has film on you, everybody knows what you're capable of. This season, they just all able to stop it. Even bad defenses were able to stop it.
Hey, they signed.
That guy's not getting smarter.
Hey, Jamal jumped in, by the way, said that Green signed a 1-year deal, so they do have AJ Green back as I guess a veteran presence of some sort. But they also signed Zach Ertz. So, Ertz will be good with them.
Well,
Ertz will probably be fine.
Ertz played half the season with them. They traded for Ertz in the middle of the
last
season.
year. I was about to say Ertz went there last year.
Yeah, at the trade deadline.
I would like to make a list of the 32 veteran presence of some sort on each team. I think that would be really fun.
Well, my question is this: you get a veteran like you sign an AJ Green when you have a roster like the Bengals. A really young. Nuke Hopkins does not need a veteran presence. Nuke Hopkins is the veteran presence and the best receiver in the room and one of the best receivers in the league. Like he don't need a daddy. All right.
Well, one of the 5 of us.
He might need a backup though.
one of the five of us is wearing the jersey of the apex veteran presence in the league right now. One Trevor Siemian, who's veteran presence, baby. Trev's gonna get.
We were told that was a Russell Wilson jersey.
Veteran presence.
This is a Trevor Siemian jersey.
We were told
happens to be the same number as Russell Wilson. I said that right off the top.
The greatest draft meme that we've ever gotten in the history of the draft has got to be Russell Wilson and the white girl just looking like she hit the damn lottery, right?
Yeah, I think
right?
you're probably right.
There's not a better draft meme in the world than that. Because that face is the face of a chick that says, I never have to work again the rest of my life.
Well, again, to cycle back to something that no one may have heard because we all may have been on mute then. Literally, there's something that was made into an NFT.
That's not, listen, the gas mask is not as good as the chick that, like, had they got married and lived happily ever after and that dream came true, that wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah.
But right now, it's pretty damn funny.
That girl getting Sierra, I would bid on that NFT. Yeah.
I am not, like, I don't understand what's happening. Maybe I'm just crazy and I'm doing what like in my head, I have an idea of what the wide receivers should look like. None of the wide receivers are going in the order that I think they should go in.
I agree with you.
The wide receivers, I mean, Jahan Dotson just goes to
the Commanders,
to Washington, and it sounds like the Titans are trading A.J. Brown to the Eagles for number 18.
Oh,
what? A.J. Brown for the 18th overall pick?
And the Eagles
the Titans just got fleeced.
And
another third-round pick.
You don't do that unless
the Titans got fleeced. You do not trade a talent like A.J. Brown and get a receiver in this draft. You just don't.
You don't do that at all unless you are resetting. I mean, isn't that a signal that they're about to draft the QB they think could be?
Yeah,
I
was about to say.
Or they're trading up to go get Treylon Burks.
Maybe, but man, Burks. I love Burks. Burks ain't A.J. Brown. Like, you're drafting Burks, hoping he will be what A.J. Brown is. That doesn't make sense.
I know, Chris, you and I have talked about this a lot. Yes, I agree. But you also know that you have to pay A.J. Brown a lot of money. Jamal jumped in and said Titans going from from first to worst. I don't necessarily agree with that. A.J. Brown was hurt for a lot of the year. It was not the passing game.
Hey, maybe they know something.
It's possible. Let's see. So Chargers are in at 17. And
I gotta pee.
Go on and do your thing. Guard Zion Johnson from Boston College. All right, so we got our run on the offensive line.
2 guards in the first round. You ever see guards getting taken that high?
There's and we're probably going to see a third one, right? Tyler Smith. Maybe not. Sorry, he's more borderline. I was searching for guards after the Kenyon Green pick, and he's a bit further down. So.
Linderbaum will probably go.
I would say it's a statement on this year's quarterback class that we're going to have multiple guards go ahead of quarterbacks in what is not regarded as an amazing guard class. It's just, again, at some point there's probably going to be the run. There's going to be that QB run.
Well, so does Tennessee take Tannehill's replacement here?
Yes, I think so. I mean, you don't. I just don't think that you make that move unless you're planning to reset your whole deck.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. Like they may be going after Willis here,
and it jumps
whoever they like.
New Orleans.
Yeah, whoever they like. Like, that could be Willis, that could be Ritter, that could be.
Well, not New Orleans. They jumped ahead of who did New Orleans trade with earlier?
Well, no, New Orleans is sitting at 19.
Yeah, but they traded that 19 pick to move up to like 11 to get.
No, they got 19 from Philly.
Oh,
they had
Philly traded up.
New Orleans had 2 picks.
You're right. Okay, so they traded ahead of the Saints and ahead of the Steelers.
Yeah. So if they want Pickett here,
I think it's going to be Pickett, Ritter, or Malik, one of those 3.
I can't imagine Pickett being the guy. There's just no way.
I can't imagine being Zion Johnson and having the pressure of having to live up to the like when the same team made one of the greatest offensive lineman draft picks ever in the previous year, and you have to live up to that kind of pressure.
Yeah,
like,
Pro Bowl or bust, right?
Good luck. The last offensive lineman the Chargers took in the first round is going to be their cornerstone for the next decade. So good luck, young man.
Hey, have the Eagles made a bad deal in like the last, I don't know, 5-6 months? Like, it seems like the Eagles are hitting on everything right now.
That time frame was critical because this is a team that drafted. Ahead of Justin
I was
Jefferson
waiting for you to finish that sentence. Be like, yeah.
I mean, they've been killing everything here.
Back into the sun, yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's all coming up roses for the Eagles right now.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, they get Jordan Davis, which, you know.
Well, but when you waste a first pick, a second overall pick on a Carson Wentz, like, you were still able to win a Super Bowl with that roster, which is unbelievable because the rest of that roster was great. Just imagine the run they could have went on had they not taken a bust for a first-round pick. At the quarterback, they have a lot of pieces for some, and it's because of the ineptitude, the moronicness of other franchises, right? Like, they picked the pockets of the Colts last year. For some reason, their dumbasses gave them a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. And then now they get Brown for this year's first-round pick. Like, what the hell, man? Are these other franchises just saying, Philly, we feel bad for you? Do they have, like, does Howie Brown have, like, pictures of these guys' wives? Like,
it's got to be something. It's got to be something. Hey, Terry jumped in, by the way. First thing Terry said, I don't think I read it off earlier. He said, I don't hear any slurred speech. Everyone needs a shot right now. Let's get the show going. And he said, might have joined late. He said, might have joined late, but who do y'all think the first quarterback picked will be?
I think we're about to find out.
We might. I will say this. I had a Desmond Ridder plus 1,200 as the first QB taken.
I don't think it's going to be that if this is it.
But I did have Kenny Pickett over pick 10.5, and I had Malik Willis over pick 13.5. So I won those already. So
I'm going to officially guess Ridder.
Really? Boy, that'd be awesome.
Makes a little bit of geographic sense too.
Boy, if I hit plus 1,200 on this thing. Ooh, shit, baby. It's on tonight.
There are going to be shots.
Oh, it's going to be a lot. I'm going to be drinking a lot of scotch, my friends. A lot of scotch.
Jamal Cooper out here saying Eagles winning the NFC East. Man.
They need a quarterback.
They're swimming in the kiddie pool, all right? It ain't that damn hard to win that division because all those teams kind of suck.
But even still, they still need a quarterback. I love Jalen Hurts. I do. But, I mean, you got to have somebody that can get these guys the ball. Like, I don't know.
Is Nick Foles available?
Yes, he is.
He is.
I was just about to say, there's no doubt he could be available. Listen, Baker's available. Hang on. All right, honest question.
Oh, here we go.
Baker for a 4th-round pick for the Eagles? Straight up, you do that deal for the Eagles?
That would that be the end of the Eagles making good deals for the last 5 or 6 months?
Yeah, right.
Got to all eventually come around.
A good 5 months.
It's Patrick jumped in. He said,
slump buster.
Yep. NFC East, a race to the bottom, said Patrick Houston. Then McKinnon jumped in. He said, Sam Howell kind of seems like a Vrabel guy, if I'm being honest. The value ain't there, but seems like a guy Vrabel would like. Yeah, you ain't trading up to go get Sam Howell. You can get him in the 2nd round. Like, that's you don't trade
You're
A.J. Brown.
You're under the impression that these guys understand what shit cost. We've watched this thing for years, and these guys don't know what things cost.
The Titans have actually been really good in the draft.
Daniel Jones, guys like that, like all these guys are talking about, guys that were taken either way too early or way too late.
Right, we're at
this
18.
is going to be interesting. I'm seeing some reports. I'm not going to say anything.
Don't tip it, Sam. Quit tipping the pitch. Sam.
I'm not saying anything.
Stop looking. It's like going to the movies with my wife, man.
Look at him up there, smug in his knowledge.
Blink if it's a QB.
Orange jersey.
Oh, my God.
This is like going to the movies with my wife. You know what she does before we go to movies, right? She YouTubes or Googles. She's a reader. She YouTubes or looks up. What the fuck?
She's a reader.
She Googles what happens, and she reads everything that happens before we even get there, because she doesn't like anticipation. She doesn't like someone telling a story and finding out what happens. It drives me insane.
Oh, wow. That's really funny, Chris.
Now we're all waiting for the other shoe to drop. This thing Sam knows that we don't know.
That we don't know.
While we're waiting, I'll tell you guys while we're on the subject of significant others, this is how my night's going. My wife texted me a little while and said, do you think I could leave the car here? So that's how my night's going.
Oh my God. What in the world?
Leave the car where?
She's at a friend's birthday party.
Has everybody seen the pic?
This is why I was late, because I was putting the kids down. So I have not. I see Mike Vrabel looking not very sure of himself.
Chris, did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh my goodness.
I just see the pic selected.
Hold on, let's let Chris watch it, and then I want to see what his reaction is.
Delay. Hey, I'm about to go to CBS and find out, since you all know.
I don't know what stream you're watching, man. I'm on a stream.
So I'm watching the.
Oh wow.
Oh, Treylon Burks. All right, so I like this guy.
We literally just said this was crazy 2 minutes ago.
It's only crazy because you're drafting him, hoping that he becomes the guy that you're getting rid of.
You just got rid of.
Yeah. Right.
Did I say that?
Doesn't make sense to me. This guy, AJ Brown, is a star. You're drafting the guy that you're hoping is that guy. You already have this guy. Okay, you got to pay him. Yeah, you got to pay these fucking guys. They're worth a lot of money, so you got to pay them. Yeah,
but the problem is that you have paid Ryan Tannehill and you can't get out of the deal. But you can get out of the AJ Brown deal.
Listen, trade him to the Eagles, and you're all right.
I mean, seriously.
Hang on. This is an honest question. Because I cannot think of it, and I'm just not going to look it up because I don't give a shit, really. Who's the Colts quarterback right now?
Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I knew they traded for somebody. Okay, Matt Ryan's better than – all right, he's better than –
So wait, here's my question. Like, is this – why do you trade up to make this pick?
I don't. Well, because I do think that somebody was going to take Burks. I don't think if Burks is the guy you want, I think there's a chance Burks is the best receiver in this draft.
Do you think the Saints or the Steelers were going to take it? I think, Patriots are sitting there at 21, so maybe you had to get in front of
them. Yeah, you had to get in front of.
I was about to say, I think you got to get in front of Bill. Yeah, I do think you got to get in front of Bill.
That's fair.
That's where I wanted him to go, but if he would have gone to New England, if he would have gone to New England, there's no doubt he would have been a bust. So,
and it's a classic run too. I mean, like,
everybody's looking at last year's draft. The NFL's a copycat league, right? Like, everybody's looking at Chase and at Jefferson and saying, "I want mine."
Right.
Well, and probably they're seeing the contracts that these wide receivers are getting after their rookie deals and saying, "Hey, I can't afford this Devontae Adams deal, so let's get a rookie." I mean, AJ Brown, he's on the last year of his deal. He's about to get paid. So
don't pay quarterback $45 million, and you can break a little bit off for your receivers.
You have to pay a quarterback $45 million.
No, you don't.
Fuck right?
I'd rather take my chances with another quarterback and have a guaranteed AJ Brown than than play revolving door with wide receivers hoping to find an AJ Brown and not having a good quarterback.
Disagree. As someone who's been in quarterback hell since 2015.
Yeah, but just because you can't get it right doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of guys that have gotten it right.
Is wide receiver becoming the new running back?
Yeah,
no, wide receiver has become the new left tackle and edge rusher.
Yes.
Okay. That's what they are. PFF, and I wish I could give credit to who I saw this from, but PFF at the end of last year did like a thing, and they basically said the analytics show that a number one elite wide receiver is the second most valuable asset to a franchise now, which is why those guys are getting the 30 to 40 million.
Right. Well, and you can flip it around the other way too, whereas the fact that they are getting 30, 40 only increases that. And it's like taking you back to the quarterback thing, right? Where it's like, now everyone's going to want one of those guys on a rookie deal because the back end money is so expensive.
Well, Schefter is saying AJ Brown's just about to sign a 4-year, $100 million extension with $57 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's $25 million a year.
Even decent. Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
But that's what a tier one wide receiver is going to cost you nowadays. Everybody just needs to budget it. The cap is going up a lot, so you got the fucking money.
I wonder if there's something else at play here. Like, is there something that's going on in the Titans locker room?
Well, no,
AJ Brown ain't happy.
Made it clear something happened, and AJ Brown was like, "Fuck these guys, I'm out."
Yeah.
He said what Debo said.
Yeah.
But for some reason nobody picked up on what he said.
Wasn't there a group of like 3 guys?
There were 3 of them. There's another one. Yep, Terry from you're right, from the Commanders.
McLaurin.
McLaurin. Yeah. Because all 3 of them were kind of like, we're not happy.
When they all got the same agent. Yeah.
Well, I know this. I like Terry McLaurin. I think he's really good. One of those things ain't like the others.
So I have a question, Chris. You were talking about the order of the wide receivers.
Sure.
So it went London, Olave, Williams.
Wilson was in there.
Burks. Wilson was in there too.
Wilson was right after London.
He was right after London.
London, Wilson, Olave, Williams, Dotson, Burks. Who did you have as like the top?
Well, Burks was my best. I think Burks has a chance to be the best wide receiver in this draft. He doesn't have the speed that those other guys have, but none of those guys have the body that he has.
I will agree with that.
You can work out, you can get faster. He will never get like Chris Olave speed. All right.
He is the main reason Arkansas's offense will not be as good this year as they were last year.
People will claim he's not a great route runner, but these are like the things that he's bad at are things you can learn. He didn't have to be a great route runner because he's a monster. You can't teach somebody to be a monster.
But he's of that kind of guy. He's the top guy of that type.
Also,
board, right?
This is a bastard that hunts hogs with knives, okay? Like, I want this guy in my locker room because if you got I'm about to just go off for a minute. If you got a Baker Mayfield, this is the kind of wide receiver that'll put his ass in a locker and tell him, quit crying, stop being a little bitch, and go play ball.
True. McKinnon jumped in. He said Scary Terry also hadn't had a remotely capable quarterback his entire time in Washington.
Truth.
And then McKinnon also said Christian Watson to the Pats. He said he would be the perfect Bill pick for wide receiver. High ceiling, probably going to fail in the league. So,
Trevor Penning, the tackle from Northern Iowa, just went to the Saints.
Went to the Saints.
Interesting. Like the Saints still are not taking the quarterback.
This is what the Saints do, don't they? They draft somebody that nobody's ever heard of every year.
Well, I mean, Pennings was picked in the first round. I mean, because I haven't heard of him, like.
And they did already take Chris Olave, so
Pennings one of those guys where I've been watching him. So I guess I have to go back and take a look because, was this guy ever not massive? Like, it's hard for me to believe that this guy, like in high school, wouldn't have been kind of the same kind of guy. Did he grow like 3 inches when he was at Northern Iowa?
He's always been huge.
Like he's 6'7", 325. Yeah. Like what didn't that guy show in like the rivals camp that he showed at Northern Iowa? I just don't understand. I feel like he must have mauled people then. I don't know. It's just interesting. But
I'm gonna go look at his
the guy that everyone was high on. So
I'm going to look at him at 247. We'll see. I'll find it.
6'7" and 1/8, mind you, John.
Yeah, fair. that last eight pushed him up into the first. Yeah.
That's probably worth like $200,000 contract or something.
Yeah, probably was.
Tell me why you went to Northern Iowa. That's the question I gotta ask.
Pittsburgh on the clock now. Is this Kenny Pickett territory?
Oh, are we gonna get a quarterback taken right here? Gotta hope not.
It's gonna be Willis.
Bad to be Mitchell Trubisky to be the quarterback of the Steelers this year.
He was 6'6", 260 coming out. So he's put on 65 pounds and grown an inch and an eighth.
Is he from Iowa originally?
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Iowa had him Rivals had him as a no-star prospect, although our friend of the pod, Louis Vaquer, will say that most likely means that he just didn't go to a camp or something. But Northern Iowa was his best and only offer.
He went to some probably small high school that nobody cared about.
So he got a lot bigger.
Jamal jumped in. He said Drake London's a stud, but USC games don't start until 10 when everybody's drunk and headed to sleep.
So I'll be honest. I was surprised by that pick because
here's the thing:
just wasn't on my radar as a top wideout. But then I also saw he's 6'4".
He was absolutely talented enough to be there. The issue is he was hurt half of last year.
He just wasn't anybody was talking about. He just wasn't the name
Well, that's the other thing. Do we think that the injury impacted Williams' draft stock at all, or do we think it didn't make a difference?
No, I don't think it made a difference. No, he's super speed, but you don't have somebody like the Raiders drafting like they used to, right?
Right.
Jamison Williams is a great wide receiver.
First round pick, so
and neither do the Cowboys.
Yeah. And look, Jamison Williams is a great wide receiver, but as far as route running, being technically sound, etc., like he's.
So these are the things that I look at. Like I said, I'm wrong all the time, so it doesn't fucking matter. But like, tell me a good DB that London went up against, because this is why I'm biased to the big receivers that come out of the Big 12 or the Big 10 and the SEC, is because those two conferences play defense, and they play defense at the secondary level better than everybody else. And if you can get open against those guys, you got a chance, because those are the guys playing DB in the NFL. And you get these wide receivers that come out of these flashy schools that nobody ever plays defense on, Hollywood Brown, and they just don't pan out because somebody gives them a little bit of press coverage, knocks them on their ass coming off the line. They're like, shit, nobody's ever hit me before. Nobody's ever touched me. Nobody's ever put their hands on me before, and they don't know how to handle it.
Look, I will tell you this.
I know that's an incredible bias, and it doesn't mean that great receivers can't come from those other schools, because they do sometimes. Yeah. I'll take my chances with guys that have been up against dogfight competition. That's all.
McKinnon said he went up against Washington DBs, and they were pretty good, at least two cornerbacks with one first and second round grades.
Don't give me Washington's don't give me Washington football DBs. They
didn't play Washington last year. Drake London, the reason that he has such he's super talented anyway. He only played in 8 games last year. He had 15 receptions against Notre Dame for 171 yards. He had 16 receptions against Utah for 162. Against Washington State, he had 13 for 170. Against Oregon State, he had 10 for 165. Like, he put up numbers, but no, he ain't like. I mean, it's the Pac-12. Like,
look at the DBs that Olave went up against. Look at the DBs that Burke went up against, and then call me and tell me that you think it's anywhere close to comparable.
And Jamison Williams.
No. And Jamison Williams. Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's like I totally agree, and it's like it's a whole lower level of competition. And to that point, I just have to assume that like every wide receiver who got open, every Liberty wide receiver who got open in the middle of the field or on the right side of the field must have been hit with a pass every single time. I can only assume Malik Willis probably, what did he complete? 80% of his passes over the middle?
Probably, somewhere. Well, I don't think he threw in the middle.
Passes over the middle.
I don't think he threw in the middle.
Must be within 30 to 40 percentile, surely. Pinpoint against the steel teeth of those defenses Liberty played. I can only assume.
Picking up the sarcasm. Made them all a little thick.
All right, so
speaking of which, with Steelers, are they taking him or what?
Franco Harris.
Franco. Yeah, Franco looks old.
They're taking a quarterback. I don't like it, because I would really like to see Mitchell Trubisky be the future of the Steelers. But
bridge quarterback Mitchell Trubisky.
No. That is the future franchise.
Mitchell Trubisky. They can draft him.
I'm going to tell you, this college tweeted this pick out 5 minutes ago.
Samuel.
I didn't say who it was.
I'm going to say it's Pickett.
I don't like that you know it before I know it.
Pitt tweeted 5 minutes ago that Kenny Pickett was staying in town.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kenny Pickett.
When you said that, I was like, it has to be Pitt. Then.
Oh, 100%.
Stupid pick.
This is one of those things. This is one of those things where people see Joe Burrow and they think, oh, well, we're just going to do this all the time. Guys like that just don't come around all the time.
Pickett might be fine. Like he might make it to a second contract, like you were saying earlier, Chris.
Well, this is the best news I've had in a long time.
Chris, I was about to say, Chris, you're a Joe Burrow guy and a Browns guy. How is this in any way bad news for you?
No, it's not. It's 100% not. I love Kenny Pickett being with the Steelers. We get a quarterback battle against two guys that don't scare me at all, and I'm really excited.
This is a sentimental mistake at
absolutely. This is you're
20,
right.
whatever it is. Like this is.
I would
poor choice.
100%. I'd 100% agree with it if his fingers were like a half an inch longer. But those tiny hands, I
knew somebody was going to bring it up tonight.
But does he smell like cabbage?
Yeah. I totally failed to get my kids like little miniature hand things for this moment on the podcast. Yeah. But good stuff.
I will say this:
I'll bring the props next year, folks.
He does have a lot of experience playing in that stadium, so
yeah,
maybe
it's like one of those things that just doesn't fucking matter. That just does not matter at all.
I mean, I'd love to see it happen. I mean,
he's acclimated to the weather.
Yeah, that's about it. Patrick Houston jumps in. He said, "Thank you, hand size, the elephant in the room." Jamal Cooper said Ryan Leaf vibes, one big year. He said Pickett is trash.
At least this is number 20, not number.
I was about to say
number 2.
To Chris's earlier point, right? Exactly. They didn't bet the farm for this.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't move up for him. They just sat back and waited, and they got him. And like I said, that's fantastic in my book.
Terry, number 27, by the way, said, this is crazy that Jermaine Johnson hasn't been snatched yet. Somebody's getting a crazy steal. I will say this. When I was doing my research for the first round, you are not going to see a lot of first-round guys that are age 23 already.
No.
It just isn't going to happen anymore.
They talked about that there are a bunch of guys that are going to get drafted in this draft that are 25.
Oh, the Patriots
because of COVID.
Yeah, Pat's.
Who would have ever thought to trade him?
To the Chiefs.
Yeah, KC's moving up.
So
they want to get in on this receiver. I mean,
or do they?
Who's left?
That's what I was going to say. Who's left?
I don't think you trade up for a receiver right now. I wonder if they're looking at McDuffie.
Probably
of corners that the USC guy went up against.
Well, but again,
is there a safety left on the board because they're replacing Honey Badger?
There's some safeties, but none that you would jump. I think the kid from Washington, the cornerback, because I think he can play both.
Daxton Hill's the number 3.
Pick
NFL's tracker.
He's another guy who was really good.
Jamal Cooper jumped in, said Pickett's older than Sam Darnold.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is wild.
That's a good comp.
It's
a good comp. That's about what I see him being.
Yeah, but Hill. That's right. Hill still being around is anywhere he goes at this point is.
I mean, let's call a spade. Like the Steelers are a really well-run organization and have been for a long time. Yep. If Sam Darnold went to the Steelers instead of the shit show that he went to in New York,
he would be a lot better than
he'd be a lot better. Yeah,
but he's not going to be, which is perfect for me. This has them being middle of the pack every year, like good enough to where they don't cut him loose, but bad enough to where they can't do anything special.
Mm-hmm. So
I hope Mike Tomlin goes 9-8 every year.
I wonder if part of this goes back to 1983 when the Steelers did not take Dan Marino.
Probably something to do with
it.
When did
But that's a book, man. Come on, like you're hoping to. If that's what you're hoping for,
I mean,
that's insane. If you're comping this guy to Dan,
I mean,
looking at the Steelers front office from 1983, this guy here is dead.
Oh, that's a fantastic Major League reference.
Nice pull, sir. Nice pull.
The other thing too with Marino is he fell for some weird reason, right? Like,
it really wasn't a good reason.
It was I mean, he got nagged, right? Like something happened where like there was bad buzz about him, and that all ended up being total BS, and he fell.
Well, he never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Two ball, one doesn't fit. Burrow, Watson, Jackson, Pickett. Boy.
Yeah.
There's a gap there.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
There's a gap there. So what are the chances that 3 years from now that comes back to bite us all in the ass and he's like the star of the draft? Is it 30%? Is it 7%? 60%.
7 to 10 feels more likely.
There we go. By the way,
Trent McDuffie.
Packers took McDuffie from Washington. So
the Packers are
not the Chiefs. Sorry, the Packers are up next. Sorry.
I was going to say, what the fuck?
Sorry.
Hey, so all these wide receivers, and everybody assumed the Packers were going to be taking one of these big-time wide receivers, but the run kind of went. I bet that's who they were trying to jump over, Vrabel and them.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's what we said. Yeah.
Malik Willis to the Packers. You heard it right now.
Oh boy.
I'm 100% kidding, but that would be like the night of my dreams.
We were talking about this on the text. The Packers have to take Howell because he looks like a sausage, and he'll fit in perfectly in that community. That guy,
he looks like a sausage.
Looks like he just walked out of Mars Cheese Castle,
like a
with a full shopping cart.
A Sheboygan bratwurst.
Yeah, that guy needs to be a Packer. But
my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be funny. Like the Packers drafting Malik Willis to push the guy who's pushing Aaron Rodgers. That would be amazing. It's next level.
All right.
Three-dimensional chess.
So we got Trent McDuffie in. Everybody thought that the Packers were going to take a wide receiver, but we've already had 6 wide receivers taken.
Who's left?
Yeah, I don't have anything up with the best available.
I'm pulling it up as we speak.
Per ESPN.
Because Christian
Watson. Yeah.
And then
so they go corner too.
Then John Mechie.
Jalen Tolbert, George Pickens.
George Pickens was getting talked about a bit this week. That's an interesting name, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, for the guys that we saw up close and personal in the Big Ten, Daxton Hill and George Karlaftis still being available. I mean, those two guys are.
Awesome. You know who's on the docket right now from the Big Ten is David Bell.
David Bell.
Yeah, and Bell too.
But I saw Bell falling. Like a lot of people had him like 3rd round.
Yeah. No, he's way down on the ratings.
I know he's way down.
It's weird too because it's the tools that I guess the raw tools that some of the other guys have. I just know not like no shade to Milton Wright, who's a solid wide receiver, but Purdue throws on every single down and they throw to him way more than anybody else. David Bell.
I'm gonna tell you this: when this draft is over, wherever Bell lands, Bell will finish with a substantially better career than the majority of the wide receivers taken in the first.
Totally,
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyreek Hill was
everybody
in
3 years would be like, why did this guy? It'll be doing the exact same thing we were doing with DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. Like,
and to your point about
Deebo Samuel, how in the hell did all these guys go before?
And to your point about the Big Ten, he saw the best corner on every Big Ten team every snap.
Yep.
And nobody can stop him.
And often with
for 3 years.
Yeah.
Nobody could stop him.
Yeah.
And you're talking about some of those corners. He went up against corners that were not many that were faster, more athletic, but a lot of them were all bigger than him. Didn't matter. Did not matter. He just ran away from them.
I will say one thing that might hurt him though is the fact that even when he did not play, Purdue was still able to throw the ball around.
But that's their offense.
I know,
but
matter.
I mean, it's true. It's just one of those things where it was like and you're right. They did a good job of scheming him open, but he's still. He's still got. Hang on.
Don't we credit guys for being great route runners? Like they called a play. And he ran the route perfectly and always got open.
It weren't Drew Brees delivering him the ball either.
Oh, hell no.
This is not the glory days of Purdue.
So we got a linebacker.
Quay Walker.
Quay Walker. That's a good pick.
That's a hell of a player. Is that the first linebacker off the board? Well, I guess they're calling a lot of these edge rushers outside.
But he's not an edge rusher.
He's a middle linebacker.
Quay went?
Yeah, this is the first middle linebacker.
It's a middle linebacker. That's
so
good
he
pick.
went ahead of Dean. Interesting.
Yeah, he did.
What are the chances Baltimore takes another defensive player? It's just what they do.
Yeah, that's how they roll.
I don't know who they would take that's left on offense.
They've traded with Buffalo.
Oh wow.
Per my app.
Yeah. No, that.
Oh, Buffalo moved up.
Buffalo's going to get Dax.
Good job, Scuzz.
I'd almost guarantee that.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Who's Buffalo's new OC? Who they replacing Daboll with? Because I think that's going to matter this year for all the people that just chalking up W's to Buffalo. I think that team is loaded. I think they're really good. I love Sean McDermott as a head coach, but
yeah,
that the offense is going to be different because Daboll is a genius. He's a problem solver.
Yeah.
I am looking it up.
Dax would they go corner?
Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey?
Wait,
Ken Dorsey,
the former Miami quarterback, Ken Dorsey.
That would be the guy.
Huh.
Jamal jumped in. They need a corner, not a safety. Yeah, I know, but Dax Hill plays everything.
Yeah, Jackson Hill was what's weird is Michigan went from good to bad to good again through no fault of Daxton Hill's own while he was there, and he rode the whole thing out and was sweet the entire time.
You know what? They may not take Dax Hill. They might end up going after Elam from Florida or Andrew Booth. Or maybe the other kid from kid from Washington. Kyler, what's his name? Kyler Gordon.
Coming off the Chiefs trading up for a corner, I could see this being a corner for Buffalo.
Yeah, because I mean that's their one big position of need. Yeah. They need a lockdown corner.
That's the piece. They lock that in. They are in like everything else.
Well, they got White,
but they need a number 2, right? Especially against the teams like Cincinnati and Kansas City, etc. Yeah.
Who do we think? Jamal jumped in. He said Booth. That's
they don't need one against their AFC East opponents. All right, that is not what you need to be able to stop the run against the AFC East because ain't nobody throwing football.
I'm not mad enough right now, but let's just insert Dabo Sweeney rant here from Scuzz. Move on.
Have another sip of your beverage.
I want to stay happy tonight, guys.
Let's see.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think there's any chance Breece Hall gets into the first round? By extension,
there's a chance a lot of guys get into the first round.
But it's got to be Hall, right?
Sure. I mean, Hall's got to be the first running back.
Aren't there a lot of props around no running backs in the first round?
I've got a bet on no running backs in the first round.
Yeah, I would think no running backs. I'm trying to look at the teams available. Not a lot of these guys need a quarterback. Are we really going to have a draft where one quarterback is taken in the first?
Or
who's moving back? Who's moving back in? Because Baltimore, Cowboys. I mean, I guess the Titans could take one. Could the Bucs take one?
I mean, again, it's just so weird because we're not used to the NFL making sense. But we're loaded with second-round quarterbacks here. That all makes perfect sense.
Hey, don't worry, the Vikings are sitting there at 32, and they could do something crazy. So,
well, not just crazy, man. You don't think that would be a good pick? You don't think y'all need to prepare for the future?
Well, so here's my problem with it: is that the Vikes have spent every minute since they fired Zimmer doing exactly what Zimmer and Spielman did for years, and they have been loading up on talent for next year. They re-signed Cousins. I know there was financial, wizardry involved in that, right, to reduce some of the cap hit, but they're just running it back, and so trading down to 32 makes sense in that vein. And
so that's a Patriot move.
So I just why they would then confound that situation by drafting a QB for the future would be really, really weird.
Huh.
But I mean, it's for everything.
Unless they found a dance partner to offload Cousins to, but he's got a no trade, so I just don't.
Yeah, Cousins ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. But I mean, it's for everything.
No, they're not doing that.
Yeah, for everything I've said about Willis, top of the second round, screw it. Who cares?
1,000,000%. Yes, 1,000,000%.
No, I mean,
but if you're going to do top of the second round, sorry, Sam. If you're going to do top of the second round, why would you not trade up to the first and get that extra year?
I mean, unless
it doesn't make any sense.
That's the
34 is the exact same as 32.
Oh, I mean, it's all head games, right? I mean, it's if teams, I guess they're all looking, right, and they'll be it's the question of, does someone blink, and is someone I got to trade up, or else someone's going to trade up ahead of me, because we're about to get to that place, right, where no one needs quarterbacks. So
but if you're picking him here, you're picking him because you think you can make him out of something, and the option for that extra year is just too like whatever capital you'd have to spend to move up.
Oh,
you're gonna
my God, is Buffalo getting Karlaftis?
What?
No.
Over Johnson?
Yeah.
Well, they just showed Karlaftis, unless it was just a coincidence.
I think it was a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
They've got no need. Like they got no need at that position. Like and unless you're just trying to get the best player on the board, but like
there's an argument to draft to your strength.
Chiefs in it, except with defensive linemen. It's like screw it. What's one more?
Draft to your strength, right?
Yeah. So they traded. Oh yeah.
That's the old Al Michaels approach, or just strength on strength.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really good at defense, just get great at defense, because being mediocre at both is not helpful. Being elite at one is good.
The Florida corner.
That's what I thought.
What? Isn't that what Gary said?
Yep.
Has Las Vegas always had a huge Ferris wheel?
Yes. Well, no. Well, hang on. Define always. It's about 5 to 7 years old.
20. When I went, the last time I went to Vegas was like 2015, and it had been there for a little bit. So
I went there 10 years, 11. No,
they didn't have one when I was living there.
In my mind, I went to Vegas recently, and it was like 15 years ago. I'm like,
hey, so you remember how I was going to try to do something in New Orleans for my 40th birthday?
So
yep.
I'm now going to Vegas. So if you guys want to go to Vegas the weekend before Thanksgiving, I've got the Real World suite.
At the Rio?
The Real World.
No, the Real World. So you remember when the Real World was in Vegas?
Yeah. Oh, at the Palm.
Yeah.
It's
not the Palm. It's at the Golden Spike on Fremont.
And it's the weekend before?
It's the weekend before Thanksgiving.
That's a little bit easier than trying to do the week of.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, baby.
I still want to go to LSU with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that. We can do that.
So for
Chris, we will talk about this,
Chris,
but I'm in.
The date and the venue.
You,
show up. I don't care.
You can go ahead and count on me. I will be there Friday through Sunday or Monday or whatever.
It's cheap. The hotel, now the room only holds, it's got 7 queens. They'll only allow 9 people in. I've got 7 already, but we can snuggle up. I'm not afraid of that. And the hotel rooms, like in the hotel, are only like $85 a night, man. So if you don't get in the suite, just get in the room, get in the building.
That's not bad.
We'll party. This question may make me look like an idiot, but is
okay.
Kyer Elam and Matt Elam, are they related?
Do not believe so.
Matt Elam, the kicker?
No, who am I thinking of?
I have no idea.
I know who you're talking about.
I know who one of those people are. I don't know who the other one is.
Chris is like, I know who one of those people is, and they just got drafted.
And I was about to say, he just got picked.
Matt Elam's a safety for the Chiefs. No.
Yeah, but he went.
No. He's
I was just about to say there was a kicker named Elam.
Yeah, Kyer Elam is his nephew. There we go.
Okay.
I just answered my question.
There you go.
So the safety in the league has his nephew playing in the league with him?
Well, no, he's in the CFL now. He got it. Apparently, he was arrested on charges of possession of more than 20 grams of marijuana, possession with intent to sell or deliver.
Bullshit.
So, yeah, but this was years ago. So, yeah, apparently it's his nephew. Yeah, interesting.
That don't matter. Just because it was a long time ago doesn't make it right.
I agree with you. Last time he played in the NFL was 2017. Or no, it was the 2016 season.
Old too.
I mean, he was born in 91.
Oh, not that damn old.
It just makes us old. Like, son of a bitch.
Oh, wait, isn't Hollywood Brown, are they cousins, or is Hollywood Brown Antonio Brown's nephew?
They're family, but they're not.
I think they're like cousins, right?
They're both crazy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they ain't tight.
Do you think the Cowboys are picking this, or do you think they're based on the view of their draft room, it looks like they're picking this? I thought they might trade here because
Jerry don't like trading out.
No,
I know. And so what they're probably going to do is they're going to pick an OT that they could get 12 picks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but hang on, really, does it matter? We're at the point of the draft where, like, yeah, he'll be there 12.
Your coach
but
Bill
take him now.
Your coach Bill Belichick would tell you, yes, it matters. Because
I
every
bet they-
opportunity to trade back and amp up your capital.
There's no doubt Bill's going to trade out of that 29th pick. This is what he does.
No,
Patriot
bet
fans wait all day to see their team pick. And then we show up on draft day and we get to leave with our dick in our hands and nothing else.
I got to say, this has been one of the best draft first round picks. Like, I'm just chill. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not having to stress.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Your dick might be in your hands, Chris, but does it have a ring on it?
Oh, we're going back.
Oh, no. Nobody's
back.
got that amount of rings. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yet being the operative word.
So the Cowboys last year, or was it last year or 2 years ago, where they had CeeDee Lamb
when they took CeeDee.
Yeah. Now you've got Jermaine Johnson, who is expected to be a top 10 pick, that has dropped all the way to 24. Do they take Jermaine Johnson?
They do need a defensive end. That would be a good value pick.
Yeah,
I think they're going offense. They used.
Well, I mean, either offensive line or defensive line is the same value right now. I mean, it doesn't matter. If you don't really have a massive need, you just take somebody in the trenches that's going to play for 10 years.
All right, in that case, you probably take the kid from Tulsa, right?
I think Jerry
I don't know.
I think Jerry just wants to pay someone millions of dollars while insisting he doesn't know anything about it. That's what I think.
He's not drafting his nephew, John. That's only for family.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, but like, sure, DE and offensive tackle, maybe it's the same value right now, but Jermaine Johnson's a way better player than Tyler Smith.
Probably. All right, I got to peek in.
Jamal Cooper jumps in. You guys don't think George Pickens could be a stud? Yeah, I think he could be a stud. I just don't. I don't see the value with a first round pick on him. So he coming off of an injury. Obviously didn't put up great numbers at Georgia, but you know that he could if he had been in a different offense.
That would be a wild pick right now. Not that it's not like something the Cowboys need, but that would be like a wild reach right now. That's probably
it would be.
There's a ton of guys where you can talk me into that guy is going to be as successful as any guy who's been taken prior to this point. It's just that kind of draft. Like, there's no particular guy where I'm just like, that guy's a lot. And there's been some great guys taken so far, but I'm just like, this draft is, I mean, I think there's just a ton of value in the late first and the second round. There's just a bunch of guys that could be something that are still around. And there are a lot of guys where, it's not a bad draft. It's just not, there just aren't the rock stars that there have been.
Tyler Smith?
Yeah, the kid from Tulsa.
From Tulsa.
That's the one I just said. Yep.
That they could have traded back 6 or 7 or 8 picks. Picked up a second day, maybe a third day or two, and still gotten him, I think.
See, that's the thing. Again, you got to have a trade partner to be able to do that, and I just don't know.
But isn't there, like we were talking a minute ago, isn't there somebody that wants to come up and get a QB right now? Maybe the answer is no.
I doubt it. It sure don't look like it right now.
I think when Chris, let's all nonchalantly pretend like Matt Corral was just tech. Boy, can you guys believe Corral was drafted this high? I can't.
If I'm going to go along with this, you got to say the name right. It's Matt Corral.
I can't believe Corral went this high. I just can't.
Dallas, nonetheless, too. I mean, it's crazy.
I can't believe the Cowboys reached for Corral this early. I just can't believe.
Well, look, you needed
read the screen. Like, I see the screen before I even get the ears in. That's a pretty bad shtick. This doesn't work. If we were all in the same room and I walked away to go pee and then I come back and you guys are like, oh my God, Matt Corral, then I'm like rushing to find my screen and whatever. But that shtick only works if we do this together.
He's not wrong.
Who did we say earlier can't read?
I'm the one that can't read. Read names.
No, you said some QB can't read earlier. This is like a nice throwback.
Like probably Kenny Pickett. I don't know. It was somebody who was
probably.
Oh no, I don't know who it was. It wasn't Kenny Pickett. I don't know. He probably couldn't read. Pitt's a pretty good school, right?
I mean, they're all right, I guess. Like
Our friend Matt,
John would know the answer to that. Where's Pitt ranked in the school of the quarterbacks coming out of college?
Our friend Matt got his PhD there.
So that's a pretty good school then. Oh, I don't know. I guess you can get a PhD from any dumbass school. So that doesn't mean anything.
Yes. just because they offer a doctorate degree, I don't.
I mean, there are people that get PhDs from Ole Miss, and it's still a pretty bad school.
Hey, Permane Brothers. There you go. Pitt has Permane Brothers. So
I don't know what that is.
You
Is
don't
that
know
like a sandwich place?
It's an amazing sandwich.
Oh my
place.
God!
Yeah.
In
I've never been
Pittsburgh-
to Pitt.
Oh,
No.
Pittsburgh's a great. It's a great food town, and Permane Brothers is like.
yeah.
Google it real. I mean, that sandwich is
Sounds
insane.
delicious.
Next,
Is that the
time
place
you're-
that calls a sandwich, but it's not a sandwich? You got to eat it with a knife and fork.
I mean, just massively. Whatever the sandwich is, it's just topped with fries.
Yeah.
Chris, next time you're in Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah, there's one in Fort Lauderdale too.
Is there really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird place.
yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
Let's see. Jamal Cooper jumped in. Pickens would be a perfect fit for the Packers. I don't think that they reach for Pickens. McKinnon jumped in. My money's on the Packers taking Watson. He's literally MVS as far as play style goes, and they need help bad.
Watson is like the prototypical Packer receiver, right?
Yeah. He said his ceiling is really high, but Lord, that floor is low. He's not wrong.
But he
That's
looks the
interesting.
part. He's 6'4", he's 200 plus. Like he looks the part.
Yeah. I mean,
The Packers would never, ever, ever, ever draft a Chris Olave, ever.
That would make
No.
too much sense.
Yes.
No, they won't do that. Oh Lord.
It like that. That very fondly makes me think of Greg Jennings and the greatest video game capture of all time.
Are we all in agreement that the Ravens are probably going to take Jermaine Johnson now that he's fallen this far?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
So is that the consensus that he's fallen really far? There's so many ends. His is like wide out.
His odds were like Jermaine Johnson was supposed to be like a top 9 pick.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm seeing somewhere Jermaine Johnson isn't sliding. The media had him overvalued. Good player, not elite. Needs the right personality fit.
I mean, possibly. Like I could see that.
And
His odds did jump a lot recently. So
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a team that has a track record of getting the best out of defensive players, right? Like
exactly.
it seems reasonable. Dean's another potential one here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Dean is still on the board. Honestly, I mean, yeah, I know he was hurt, but he's real.
Like
good.
you said, Gary. I mean, I think it's the he's short.
Yeah,
I
no,
think it's like-
Sam, Nakobe Dean wasn't hurt. He's just he's 5'11", 235, and he didn't run at the combine or at his pro day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all it is on that. He's his size, like his build, isn't exactly ideal.
Right.
But
His hands are small.
it's baby hands. He's just
But his hands are huge. So it like.
No, Nakobe Dean is going to make a lot of people look like fools. I know that.
Right. He's just one of those guys that's going to show up and
Yeah.
just be great. Right.
But he's 5'11", and of course that's everybody wants to look at that. So
right.
that whole thing's dumb.
So Kyler Murray just tweeted out, I guess I'm watching the ESPN feed, about the Hollywood Brown trade. He says, "Hey brother, let's run it back. Like you want another 9-8 season? Like
No, I think that's an Oklahoma reference.
They played at Oklahoma together.
Were they great in Oklahoma? Like, did they win anything in Oklahoma? I mean, they beat the shit out of the Big 12. Okay, like you didn't lose to Kansas. All right, but were they special?
I mean, Hollywood Brown was a first round wide receiver, and Kyler was the number 1 overall pick. Like,
I would say Kyler has demonstrated some, not the greatest reasoning and a need to be placated. And
he won the fucking Heisman Trophy.
Right.
I would run that back if I were him.
Baker Mayfield won the Heisman Trophy also, but that doesn't mean that like it amounts to anything. All right, so you got a trophy on your wall, but that's not the trophy you want. That's not the trophy you're looking for. And when you're playing against teams that are good, you don't look good.
But if I'm saying run it back and I'm referring to my Heisman season, like let's fucking go.
Okay, all right. So running it back is I'm referring to something that happened 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, 2018.
So that's the definition of run it. That's the definition of run it back. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run it back.
Johnny
Something that happened
Manziel,
half a decade ago.
Can't miss prospect.
Marquise Brown had 75 receptions. That's 10 more than what CeeDee Lamb had that year.
How'd they finish that year?
He had well, that was the year that they lost to Alabama. So
okay. How'd that finish? And how'd that game go for him?
Oh, I mean, they got demolished.
Okay. All right.
I don't know that was so much the offense's fault.
I want to know Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray's numbers in that game. That's the only game I care about.
Hold on,
maybe
I'll
the
pull
Texas
it up.
game.
Scuzz, your Guinness is making me jealous. I'm going.
Hold on. In that game,
this is why y'all don't have to pee, is because you're drinking milkshake beers.
Let's see.
Scotch.
Tyler Lindbaum to the Ravens.
That's a beautiful pick.
That is a pick. That's a Ravens pick right there. Man, this team is like.
I was looking at the ESPN tracker and they had center listed as the top need, and I was thinking, would they really jump for Lindenbaum? And sure enough,
well, they didn't jump it; they traded back.
Yeah, they traded back for him.
But he was like, all the talk this week was that he was not a first-round pick.
Hollywood.
None of that shit matters.
Hollywood Brown.
None of that shit matters once we got into
Chris, Hollywood Brown was injured and did not play against Alabama.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess that's why Oklahoma played so bad. Probably.
Run it back.
No, it was that defense.
Run it back. Back to the time where I didn't show up in the biggest game possible. I was hurt. Got a boo-boo.
Got a boo-boo.
I'm going to tell you this. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. You're not going an upgrade, brother.
And now he's got the best center in the draft.
Yeah.
Chris, nothing I was trying to say earlier, I would refute that. I totally agree. I just think he's like, hey, it's my boy. Let's do it again. I won the Heisman.
Let's do it again. Let's do this thing that we did half a decade ago.
Something better than going 9-8 last year. Let's do that.
When you start off 7-0. So 9-8 doesn't sound bad when you say it that way, but then when you say we started off undefeated for half the season, and then we won 2 games the other half, that's bad.
Let's not finish 2-8.
Let's not finish 2-8.
Dear Lord.
Motivating words right there.
Hey, McKinnon jumped in. He said if he's there, the Chiefs are taking Jermaine. I don't necessarily know that. The Chiefs might take Devin Lloyd.
They traded up. They don't have another pick.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they've got the 29th pick.
30.
They have the 30th. The Tyreek Hill, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the pick they traded earlier was the Dolphin pick.
Oh, okay, right. I forgot they had 2.
Yep. So they still have theirs.
Yep.
Did the Jets just trade into this pick, or is this from earlier?
No, this is the Seattle pick, right? No,
I think the Jets just traded into this.
Oh, they did just trade in. It was the Titans pick.
This is the Titans pick from – okay.
So the Titans are just like accumulating draft capital. Like big time.
Everyone says this draft is not the draft to have a first-round pick, so.
We've had those before.
Yeah.
This is the Jets' 3rd first-round pick.
Is it? I mean, this is. This is Johnson or Dean, isn't it?
They got Sauce.
I don't think it's
Wilson. Dean. I'll tell you this: their first 2 picks are 2 fucking athletes, man.
Yeah.
I think this is Johnson or Dean. I think one of those 2 guys goes right now.
That makes sense. Sure.
You might be right. If they traded up, they might be going to get Johnson before he. I'm so confused.
If the perception is that he's sliding, then yeah, you might need to jump up.
Well, they have needs in that space. They just need players, right? And
they have needs kind of everywhere.
So I'd probably err towards Johnson just because of the value you get on D-line versus LB, but.
Football Outsiders saying how badly the Jets need edge rushers.
Well, Jermaine Johnson would be it.
Are the Jets they've been a laughing stock for years now. Are they no longer? Is the new regime there smart? Do we have a read on this yet?
I like Saleh.
I mean, I was about to say I like Saleh.
And they weren't like embarrassing last year. They didn't win a lot of games. They're really young. They're still trying to figure out this system and everything. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. But
and we all said, I'm sure some of you hated him, but Zach Wilson is a project. He's real young. Compared to some of these other guys.
Lamar Jackson just tweeted WTF.
Wasn't Hollywood kind of his boy though? Like,
yes.
I mean, that's all about Hollywood.
But here's the problem. Like, why are you upset though? Like, look at that man's numbers. Look what he's done for you. Like, if you want your friend, that's fine, but he's not been good.
You're not wrong. You were not wrong.
Or is he looking at Tyler Lindenbaum and thinking like WTF? That would be a much worse reaction.
Yeah,
it's like
would.
That guy.
Well, I mean, is there a chance it's a positive WTF? No, you don't really.
No.
That was the high. That was being high thinking. No.
WTF? Hey.
No one says that.
WTF?
Woo!
Welcome, Tyler, friend. Welcome, Tyler, friend.
There's Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson.
Yeah, I would like to know more about that tweet and what he's thinking.
Jets are having an awesome draft right now.
The Jets are having a pretty good draft in a draft that everyone said was supposed to suck. The Jets,
they're doing very, very well.
Kind of been doing really good,
which is really weird.
I would like somebody to trade for Debo. The Patriots, I want to trade for Debo Samuels right here. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Niners are at this point. The Niners,
they're gonna
not.
Yeah, they said there's what's his name? Like, there's no way I can imagine trading him or something like that. Like,
well, and they're right for that because no one has ever won a trade where they've traded a star away like that. Yeah. But the problem is if he doesn't want to be there, how much of a problem does that become for your franchise?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point in the draft, I mean, what are you doing? Trading for next year's first?
Oh yeah, no, you're getting 3 first-rounders for him.
Which is that's what like next year, the year afters, and the year after that. I mean,
no, you'd probably get this year's. You'd move into this draft.
There are no first-round picks anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're on pick 27 at this point. Which
but if you're trading with the Patriots or you're trading with the Packers,
just trade up.
Yeah, Jacksonville just traded in and traded
Tampa.
with the Bucks.
Imagine would it break the internet if they are like terms of this trade? Jacksonville has traded like Tampa Bay has traded Tom Brady and
the number 27 pick
for Trevor Lawrence
pick to Jacksonville for. Be unbelievable.
Well, yes, it would be unbelievable.
So who are the Jags? So who are the Jags going up to get here then?
That's what I was curious about. Who are the Jags?
It's
Dean?
Maybe.
I mean, they're going for what, 33 to 27? That's not a huge.
Yeah, it's not a huge jump.
Hill.
They could get Hill.
Maybe Hill.
I could see that. I could absolutely see them going up for Hill.
What were the needs here?
Desmond Ridder. They're all the way out on Lawrence.
Yeah. Or Booth. Right?
Jags need linebacker, offensive line, and wide receiver. So
I mean, then Dean.
Well, that's what the little sheet says, but
yeah,
I'm gonna bet they have more needs than that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Andrew Booth, like, isn't Jacksonville like Clemson East?
Yeah.
Well, it was last year. But Urban ain't there anymore, so
yeah,
such a dumb reason.
So my buddy Ryan, who's a big Jaguar fan, is wondering Pickens or Dean.
No, I don't think either of those.
I could see Dean. I don't know.
I mean, Dean's a win at this point. It's like the same.
Probably so.
I got to make a fashion comment real quick. Jermaine Johnson's sports or suit coat is freaking awesome. I don't know what the inspiration is. I just love it. I think it's just
I missed it.
No, it's like yellow and gold, and
it looks good,
spectacular. And Scuzz, did Ikem Ekwonu get drafted before you came in?
Yes,
his suit was incredible.
Yeah, Icky looked good.
Nigeria themed. and it
was
was
sweet.
It was amazing.
I don't know the significance of what Jordan Davis was wearing, but I did notice like the big red stripe across
big red stripe,
which I thought was really striking as well.
All right, so the Jags could be going either Nakobe Dean or Devin Lloyd. That could be interesting. Jesse Luketa from Penn State.
Trading up for a inside linebacker.
That would be interesting.
I don't know. I guess this is that point in the draft where if I'm
well, that's the thing too. If they're trading up, they got to be trading up for someone that they think is going to be gone. So
Devin Lloyd was not expected to be there at this point.
Apparently, they gave up number 33, number 106, and number 180 to go up to 27. So it's kind of a lot for
that is a lot. Yeah,
I mean Christian Watson maybe. Maybe
or Hill. I mean, Hill is an awesome safety.
I think Hill was the pick, but that's I don't fucking know.
That would make sense for the trade capital.
Yeah,
I don't or maybe Dean, but I don't understand it. Like
I think he's fallen way farther than I ever thought he would fall.
Yeah,
Hill.
Yeah. I'll say this: all the mocks had him round about pick 25 through about 35, somewhere in there. So this is about the spot. But
and to Chris's point earlier, when is someone going to blink? Is someone going to trade up and go and get a quarterback? It's not the Jags, but
that's why I was looking at who's left on the board. You got Green Bay, you got the Patriots, you got the Chiefs, you got the Bengals, you got the Vikings. If the Vikings aren't taking a QB, somebody's going to have to trade up to take a QB because everybody else is set.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, who's at the top of the second who needs a quarterback is the question, right?
Right.
So.
Well, it would be who did the Jags? Would it be Tampa has that pick now?
You get all the way to Tennessee at the third pick.
Tennessee at 35. Would they
jump
back up?
The Giants at 36.
Giants at 36.
Giants at 36. That would be my
Houston at 37. Who's Houston?
Houston seems to be happy with what's his ass?
Davis Mills.
Davis Mills.
Really?
Davis Mills.
They said going into this draft, they were not looking at quarterback. They want to build around him.
Okay.
Stanford man.
Okay.
Smart dude.
I'd be curious though, like what props there were.
Listen, Josh Rosen was a smart guy too. Right?
Well, so
sometimes brains ain't everything. All right.
Davis Mills is our quarterback is code for we're preserving our 2023 draft capital.
Yeah.
It also reminds me a lot of Kyle Orton's our quarterback.
Yeah.
All over again.
I don't know.
Like Commanders and you got the Lions, 46, 47, they can move in.
Right.
46 and 47, that's, you have to give up a lot to get back into the first round at 46 or 47.
I don't know that you do in this draft because if the guy you want's not there, you're spending a lot of money on him where that second round money goes way down while you don't get the extra year. They're really fucking cheap.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. I mean, I'd love to know what the props were on less than two quarterbacks in the first round.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Or even if you could just literally if there was a prop for, and I'm sure the prop existed, but like one quarterback taken and that's it.
Right.
Like I bet that was plus 2,000 or better.
And for all the mocks I looked at, I don't think I saw a single mock that had that. And again,
I still thought 3 to 4 quarterbacks would get taken because it's still a quarterback league. And you want
still a long time. But I mean, Jacksonville traded up. They're not taking one.
Well, so all the teams left don't need one unless Minnesota finds a way to take one, which I think they should, by the way. But
at 32, Scuzz, don't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it if they hadn't spent the last year or the last 3 months loading up for next year. I mean, you don't sign Zadarius Smith to the type of contract you signed him to, and extend Cousins to go draft a QB at 32.
Oh, sure you do, because here's the thing: like, you don't want the quarterback in the first year to be the guy But the second year, hell yeah, that's when he needs to be the guy. And
Devin
Cousins' deal is
Lloyd.
only a 3-year deal. So if you get a year out of Cousins this year, and then next year the kid takes over, you could punt Cousins, and somebody will take Cousins off your hands and give you a hell of a pick for it.
But if you want to compete, compete this year, you need to get a corner.
You don't want to compete.
Play.
You don't want to compete this year. You want to compete next year.
Sam, that makes sense, Lloyd. I mean, because he was one of these guys who they had, like, if they had to trade up to grab someone that they didn't think was going to be around. So, like, it makes sense.
Devin Lloyd's not making it to 33.
I was just about to say, you don't think Lloyd was making it 6 picks?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Devin Lloyd would have.
I think he's on that list of guys who, at this point,
you're running into a lot of teams that need linebacker help, and Devin Lloyd is the best on the board outside of Nakobe Dean.
That's true. All of these teams could use a linebacker.
That's the thing too. Like, from this point on, anyone who drafts Hill, Dean, is just celebrating. Like,
the Patriots are going to take Hill if Hill's there. They won't trade out of that pick, in my opinion. I believe that.
Yeah,
because he's a Bill Belichick guy.
Right.
He's versatile. He can play corner. He can play safety. They need both. He's it.
I don't think he'll be there at 32, but if he was, that would be my pick for the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
The Packers already got their pick in.
1,000,000%.
Like, it didn't even go to the clock. It just said Packers. Pick is in.
Well,
All
they
right,
traded back to this place.
Is this Christian Watson? Is this our next North Dakota State pro?
Damn,
awesome.
I'm telling you, all the way.
Has this first round been moving really quickly? I mean, this feels like it's really moving along.
I'm not even like a third as drunk as I was at this point last year. So yes,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, last year took
like
forever.
It's cooking along, doesn't it?
We're just over the 2-hour mark here, and we're almost done. This is wild.
We did start an hour later this time.
Did we?
No, I think we started an hour later last year.
Yeah, because we had to make sure that we didn't miss our guys.
That's right. That's right.
Early.
Oh, yeah.
Probably like 8:30.
When I say our guys, I mean the guys from the school that doesn't crank out first-round picks every single year.
No, that was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Not just was it a big deal, but they were two of the better pros out of the first round last year.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, Newsom was hurt coming in the year, so you knew he was going to probably miss some games, but he played and he played well, And then Slater's one or two best pick of the draft last year.
We should mention too, we're not exactly at the football apex at Northwestern at this particular moment, but we're probably, I mean, not probably. We got a really good chance of having a guy go in the first round next year too.
Yeah. We'll share his shit. Celebrate Brandon Joseph when he goes first round, because in that line of like Harrison Smith and Kyle Hamilton, like Brandon Joseph, who's effectively replacing Hamilton at Notre Dame, he's cut from the exact same cloth, and he'll be there. Maybe not next year. Maybe he's 2 years out.
Well, 1 year, 2 years, but Pete Skoronski got a really good chance to go into the first next year. And Rashawn Slater being as good as he's been only helps Skoronski.
Well, we've got you guys here. Is Northwestern ever going to have an offense? Or is this one of those things where it's just not going to happen?
I mean, we had an offense.
So, I mean, the short of it is I think if we get quality quarterback, I mean, this sounds stupid to say because I feel like everyone says this, but if we get quality quarterback play next year, I think a lot of problems that people just ascribe as unfixable to the whole offense would suddenly slide into gear. Like, our offense inflicted so many self-imposed errors last year.
Yeah.
Combined with just really rough quarterback play and some bad play calling. If the quarterback locked into place, suddenly you'd be like, well, suddenly the fact that Northwestern returns a ridiculous amount of starts on the offensive line and like two excellent running backs.
Yeah, Porter's coming back, right?
Running backs. Say what?
I said Porter's coming back, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you've got the other guy, Hull, that averaged like over 5 yards a carry last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evan Hull's back. Sam Porter's back.
Yeah.
The identity under Pat Fitzgerald will always be hard-nosed defense and ground game on offense.
So that was my question: is
will never change.
Why bring in Bajakian? Why bring in a guy that's known for spreading it out and slinging it downfield?
Well, but he doesn't.
If you're
he was never a sling it downfield guy.
The ball off.
He was never a sling it downfield guy.
Though.
Yeah, he was Steve Addazio's OC at Boston College, and they were throw it down the field, but only if you have the right mix going on at running back.
It was run.
He's kind of a flexible
tight end.
But I mean, the short of it is, if Ryan Helinski throws an accurate ball next year, which has been an issue, but that was part of it, and we were juggling quarterbacks. But the amount of self-inflicted wounds on the offensive side of the ball, I guess it is to say, ironically, Northwestern's defense next year has a lot of major issues that have to be solved.
So you have to find a way to put points on the board.
Right. Whereas, it sounds stupid to say, because again, it's the most important position on the field. But if Northwestern gets quality quarterback play next year, you'll suddenly see the offense click into place to a degree that a lot of people are not expecting. That's what I'd say.
So here's a question that I have about Pat Fitzgerald and next year's possibility. So let's say the defense is not good. Okay, they're really struggling. Is he going to open the offense? Is he going to allow an OC to open the offense up because he knows I got to put up 20 points?
Well, I mean, again,
or is he just going to take all the L's?
Again, it's like it's kind of tough because like Northwestern, like we do that kind of to some of an extent, but yeah, I mean, like we don't run the most space age offense, but it is a fairly flexible offense. It's just like last year Northwestern, and I think like even like the players would agree with this and the coaches would agree with this, there were just so many self-inflicted wounds on the offensive side of the ball. Like the amount of penalties and the amount of errors and self-inflicted turnovers for a team that just like Northwestern doesn't do that historically. It's just not the MO.
That's right. And that is true, by the way. Y'all normally don't turn the ball over and you don't commit penalties. So all those things are true. So they should be better. Right. So the Packers pick has been in since the Packers were on the board, and the pick's still not up.
They're doing the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for Andrew Whitworth. Yeah, the Patriots pick is already in, and they're just not announcing it.
I love Andrew, but come on, we're trying to do something here, guys.
I don't know why you would do this at the end of the first round.
About Northwestern football for another 20, 30 minutes. We can,
I mean, look, I don't have any shit to do.
That's by the way, I'm going to call in our buddy McKinnon, who's a big Chiefs fan, after the Chiefs pick. So
okay,
so we'll Bluetooth him.
Patriots pick in.
Well, let's get the Packers and the Patriots, and then we'll get the Chiefs, and then I'll bring him in to talk. He knows a little about the Falcons too, so we can get his opinion on Drake London. All right, so Andrew Whitworth, yay, Man of the Year, props.
All right.
Awesome.
The only guy close to as old as Brady, right? That's
yes.
Another thing.
His goal was to play until he was 40.
Yeah.
And he did it. Congratulations. That's awesome. Love the guy.
Devontae Wyatt.
Huh?
Wait, what? That's who the Packers just took?
That's who the Packers just picked. Devontae Wyatt.
Oh, my God.
Interesting.
So Hill is there. Hill is going to be the pick.
Devontae Wyatt's a good pick.
I'd wager a large sum on Hill being the pick.
The only thing that's a bummer for this is that like if this guy works out for Green Bay, it means probably Tyler Lancaster is his playing time. Northwestern grad Tyler Lancaster's playing time on the defensive line for the Packers is likely greatly reduced or over. But this is yet again the Green Bay Packers have given Aaron Rodgers the middle finger, and I couldn't be happier.
Well,
I agree. There's no one else you really can take.
I mean,
it's going to help that offense. Once you miss out on Burks, who everybody was hoping would fall to them.
But when did they trade? When did they trade out?
They traded out after Burks was taken.
Okay.
By the way,
no wide receivers have gone since then, but still,
they
were picking behind the Titans.
This is 3 defensive linemen taken from Georgia. In the first round in one draft.
Georgia's defensive line's really good.
Oh yeah, it's like that Clemson defensive line from 2018 or whatever.
Well, Alabama's had years like this too, haven't they?
Yeah,
not this many defensive linemen, but
not from the same like position group basically.
Okay.
But yeah.
Ooh, avid paintball player growing up.
Oh.
I like it.
All right, so who's build going here?
Hill.
Yeah, I think
Hill.
Dax Hill would probably be unless they go to Kobe Dean.
That's a classic. How did Bill get this guy pick?
Yeah.
Right.
If he doesn't take him, I'm going to be furious. And with
Dean,
with his track record,
Dean too.
Dean.
I'm assuming.
Dean has that's serious Gerard Mayo vibes.
Yeah,
right
like Nakobe Dean certainly feels like a Patriots player.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I just feel like Hill's such a better player.
Even Booth or Gordon, like I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Hill is definitely like a hell of a player, but
one guy could be the quarterback of your defense. That's really important.
Yeah.
The other guy, you need cornerback and safety, and you got a guy that's pretty damn versatile that can do both. And Bill likes that stuff.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
But I didn't think about the fact that they really do. They're missing the quarterback of the defense right now.
And he would be that guy.
He would be that guy, and he'd be that guy for the next 7 years. I mean.
Yeah, the more I think about it, Dean seems like such a Patriot.
I'm okay with either of those. There's a world where he takes a wide receiver here because he's just
where he takes Christian Watson.
That would be amazing.
Ooh, I'm hoping for that right now, just to see Chris get up and walk off this thing.
Damn.
I've seen a tip. I'm not going to say anything.
Oh,
why
Sam!
The pick been in for 19 minutes. Just ESPN, just show us the fucking pick and let's go.
No, I think they're trying to stretch it out. Like I really think they're trying to stretch it out.
Commercials. I'm watching
commercials.
I'm watching commercials.
Oh, all right. So I'm on the one where who's the fantasy guy that was wearing the Slater shirt earlier? Y'all said his name, and I forgot.
I got no idea.
He's pretty. Just got married.
The pretty fantasy guy wearing the Slater shirt.
Well, he's definitely the most handsome man on my screen right now.
Okay.
What channel are you watching?
It's not close. I don't know. I'm watching a live stream on my ESPN app. I don't know fucking what it is. This
Bravo
is ESPN.
brings you the NFL draft.
Phil, is his name Phil? Is there a Phil guy? Hang on, let me look through y'all's text. Somebody commented on his shirt earlier. God damn, you don't know this? Phil Yates. I was right about Phil. You should have fucking known.
You're talking about
I don't
Field
know
Yates?
who that is.
You
I
know
don't
who Phil
listen
Yates
to
is?
hip hop.
Field Yates.
Field Yates is
Field Yates.
Field Yates is very, very handsome man. Anyway,
God,
but they're just sitting here talking.
That's okay. You're watching a different stream than just the regular.
It's the only
ESPN.
stream I got.
I'm watching the ESPN stream too, and it's just the live stream.
I'm on ABC.
Mine says live stream too.
I'm on ABC, and I have to say, seeing Jesse
legal.
Palmer there
It's
is
probably gonna
very.
get taken off.
seeing Jesse Palmer on the set is it's giving me like cognitive dissonance.
Oh, Jesse Palmer can eat a dick.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it too, Sam. I'm like, wow.
All right, I'm gonna run and let this dog out. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
We don't need you. You'll be all right. As soon as this pick's over, I'm waiting on this pick because I got to pee again.
This is very strange.
Strange is not good, Sam. I don't like strange. Well,
Very strange. Says
strange
Sam.
ain't never bad, but I don't like this kind of strange. Right? It's bad deal.
What's bad? What's
you looking at the pick and saying this is very strange?
not strange?
I want Dean or Hill. That wouldn't be strange. So strange is shitty. I don't want shitty.
Okay.
Or Sam's messing with you with something.
I want Dean or Hill.
Hill.
Oh, he could be doing that. I'm easily confused.
Sam likes to do that too. He uses those big hands to confuse people all the time.
So who wants to go to Vegas?
I want to go to Vegas. Whether or not I can go to Vegas is
I'll
another
say
question.
this. Literally 100% of the mocks have the guy who the Pats took.
Oh, fuck. Cole Strange.
Like I said,
Tennessee,
it's a very strange
Chattanooga.
pick.
God damn.
This
Come
is
back,
this is also a very Bill pick. Much like the Saints picking a guy, and it's nobody's radar, right?
We're gonna pick somebody in the first round that's not gonna be in the league in 3 years.
He really should just trade all of his first-round picks every year, all the time. Because he's an absolute goddamn genius every other round. But this one just...
My guess is like he couldn't find anyone to bite, right? I mean... Like,
and he had to pick because he couldn't get a trade. Yeah.
Do you really think that offensive line is their biggest need? Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know if it's their biggest need, but I mean, if that's who they want, you can absolutely trade back to the top of the second round and get Strange there.
Well,
or maybe he's trying to tie in with the Multiverse of Madness from next week.
a little cross promo there.
Yeah, you know.
Chris is out. That was it.
Strange. So that's what I was about to say. That certainly seems like a Bill pick, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were just saying, yeah.
Rivals. Ooh. So these, I always like to check these. Cole Strange was a 2-star defensive end who signed with Chattanooga. 6'4", 255.
Gained 2 inches.
Shit.
2 inches.
Chiefs having a good draft.
Fuck me.
Sorry, Sammy.
Fuck. Karlaftis to the Chiefs.
Oh,
that's a great pick.
Man.
That is a great pick.
Fuck.
God, let's see.
That is so sick.
You see what he's wearing, right? He looks like he came straight from the academy.
So let's all steel ourselves for some Wrigley Field highlights. Let's just prepare now.
I really want Chris to come back. How bad was it? I didn't get to hear him.
It wasn't that bad.
Nah.
He was very so broken to it, and like the oh my god, like Bill did it again in the first round. Travis Kelce seems excited, but also clearly doesn't know who this is.
Let's see, George Karlaftis.
I'm telling you, I mean,
straight from the academy. Indeed, I'm seeing his suit for the first time now.
Yeah,
wow.
Said it a bunch of times, but I mean, this is the best guy we saw. This guy was terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
No, he's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
Doubled and tripled every play. I mean, like to your point earlier, John. Like this dude saw everybody's
here come the Wrigley Field highlights. So let's just take a sip of your drink. Steal yourself.
Let me go on and call McKinnon.
Oh, I thought y'all did that already.
No.
Chris was hoping to miss that.
I don't care. I like McKinnon.
Well, while you're working on that, I was going to do this in an angry moment after the Vikings destroyed. After the Vikings ruined
hang
their
on,
first
McKinnon.
round pick, I was going to do this in an angry moment, but I'm going to do it now anyway.
While you're working on that,
Hey, McKinnon, you got to turn down your stuff in the background.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, put on the Bengals shirt. Look at this.
There we go.
Let's go.
All right, McKinnon, you got us?
Yep.
All right, so George Karlaftis, initial impressions.
Not real happy.
Really?
What?
Wow. Allow us to change your mind.
All right, tell me why you don't like George Karlaftis there.
Yeah, who did you want?
Because I'm sure it's better than Cole Strange.
I mean, he's better than Cole Strange. I mean, I ain't saying much, but, here we are.
Well, look, you got Trent McDuffie with the 21st pick. You got George Karlaftis, who is an absolute beast from Purdue. I think it's good value, especially where you got him. So who would you have preferred? Did you want Dax there?
Yeah, I wanted Dax or I wanted Boye Mafe out of Minnesota.
Okay. I could understand it, but that would be more based on potential as opposed to what you've already seen out of Karlaftis. Now, the issue is, and I'll bring John and Sam in here. Look, with Karlaftis, we have seen if you don't utilize Karlaftis correctly, if you don't put him in the right defense, then, yeah, he's not going to perform up to expectation. But you put him in the right defense, and he's an absolute monster.
I mean, Bob Diaco had to work really hard to screw up George Karlaftis. He pulled it off, but like we said it earlier,
that was also 2020, which was jacked up in a whole bunch of other ways, right?
True.
Karlaftis is the best guy I saw.
Way better than Mafe.
Way better than Mafe.
Yeah.
All right. So
and Hutchinson was great. Karlaftis was he was terrifying.
Well, so
flipping good.
So McKinnon, tell me about Trent McDuffie. You feel pretty good about that one?
No, kind of hit or miss. I mean, I think he's a really great corner, but Spags has a really specific kind of guy he looks for in corner, and I don't think that's him. I mean, McDuffie played almost entirely zone his entire college career.
So do you think?
But now he's going into a predominantly man system.
Well, so tell me about Spags. Do you think that he's still going to be around after this year? I mean, at some point they got to get rid of this guy, right?
I mean, this is a use or lose year for Spags. I mean,
well, hang on now. Whoa! Last year we went like 6 games at the end of the season where their offense was hot garbage, didn't score more than like 13 points, and they won all of those games because the defense showed up.
They did.
So we shit on Spags, but at some point,
I feel like that was more of
say, hey,
on the field leadership than it was
for a while.
Well, Chris, you and I have talked about this. Like, they weren't exactly playing a murderer's row of offenses there.
You're right, but even bad offenses in the NFL can score 20.
Okay, valid point.
So
unless you're the Packers with Jordan Love.
13 and won all those games is wild.
Yeah, okay. I
At some point in time, I'm not a Spags guy. I'm not saying he's the second coming of Bill, but Jesus, man, we can't just kill the guy. He did what he had to do.
This is true. They did show up when they had to in certain spots. I don't know. Tell me, McKinnon, who would you have rather had as a Chiefs fan?
I mean, if I had my pick this season, I mean, hell, I would rather hire Brian Flores.
No. I'm not talking about coaches.
Do a hell of a lot better job.
I'm talking draft.
Wouldn't we all, McKinnon?
Draft. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. You guys are like barely coming in. So if I had to take my pick, I probably wouldn't have traded up for McDuffie. I think he's a really solid pick, and I think he's going to do well. And I've heard a lot of different analysts say he's one of the smartest guys in the entire draft. So I think that's going to bode well for the Chiefs. But I feel like we probably could have gotten him or a commensurate player in the same 29 and 30 picks without having to give up 2 additional picks in later rounds in the top 3 or in the 3rd and 4th round.
I don't think you're wrong there. I don't think you're wrong. I don't know that McDuffie would have been there, but you certainly, I mean, you see Andrew Booth is still on the board. Kyler Gordon's still on the board.
And if you like Hill, it's hard to argue with him, right?
And then Roger McCreary from Auburn is still on the board, and you could probably get him early second round.
I would have been happy with McCreary. I would have been happy with Hill. I would have been happy with Boye Mafe. I mean, hell, even at this last pick, I actually probably would have been pretty happy with Ajabo.
Even coming off the injury,
a lot of questions about him.
Even coming off the injury, I guess maybe so. There's a lot of good cornerbacks that are going to be taken off pretty early in the second round, I would imagine. Kobe Bryant from Cincinnati. You got Marcus Jones from Houston as well. I mean, even Cam Taylor-Britt from Nebraska is somebody that I could see being pretty good. All right, so cornerback, like,
I watch that stink off him. Then he'll be
stings the nostrils.
Yes.
There's Daxton Hill to the Bengals.
There we go. That's another winner for me.
Boom.
Bengals winning.
All right, so that's another bet win. All right, so Dax Hill to the Bengals. That is, let's see, I had Dax Hill minus 150 to be drafted in the first round. Not bad.
Kind of reminds me of when Ray Maluga fell all that way to the Bengals.
Yep.
it's just highway robbery.
All right, and I hit on under 3.5 quarterbacks in the first round, so that's a win. Da-da-da-da-da. So here are the bets that I made. Everybody, I'll let y'all in. Under 3.5 quarterbacks.
Let's do this at the end of it because we still got McKinnon on, right?
Yeah. We got McKinnon. Hey,
let's
tell me.
Finish that. We'll go over the bets later. What do you think of the Falcons pick?
That's what I was going to say. Drake London.
Oh, honestly, I would have rather seen them gone with Jameson Williams or Garrett Wilson.
Just because they're more proven?
Yeah, that. And I feel like with the Drake London pick, like the Falcons are 100% in on Ridley is going to be back next year. Like, no doubt he has to be back next year. Otherwise, you wasted the pick on a receiver that doesn't fit your receiving core in any way, shape, or form.
That's interesting. That is an interesting take. So you think London is more than likely going to be a number 2 guy, and you're expecting Ridley to come back. So this is not somebody to replace Ridley. This is somebody that's going to fit in, I guess, right there in between your number 1 guy and Kyle, right?
Yeah, I would have to imagine so. I mean, don't get me wrong, London is a very solid receiver, and like all of his film plays out for that. He doesn't have, everything you're looking for in number 1. I feel like he's going to be an amazing number 2 and possibly number 1 someday. But at the end of the day, I don't see him being valued at the number 8 pick.
I was about to say that's a high price to pay for a number 2 guy.
Yeah, that's he's got talent, but I do think it was a little bit of a reach. It's a little bit of a reach to take him as the number 1 wide receiver off the board, especially when you got all those other options. But we do this every year.
Is he duplicative?
Honestly, I would love to see Jameson Williams go there.
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, we're tanking this year anyways. Have Jameson sit the year out.
You not believing
one hell of a receiving core.
You not believing in Marcus Mariota? That's ridiculous.
Shit.
Hey, Scuzz, what were you just about to say?
I was gonna say, isn't he kind of duplicative of Pitts' skill set in like being that big body downfield? I mean, like having 2 of those guys is not a bad thing, but it is a little strange spending a top 10 pick on a similar player 2 years in a row. Even though I realize Pitts technically plays tight end.
Well, yeah, technically.
I mean, technically he plays tight end.
He's going downfield.
Yeah, he's going downfield a lot. McKinnon, what? I mean, do you kind of feel the same there?
I honestly didn't hear a thing you said. I can hear you.
Oh, but you can't hear the other guys?
Yeah, I can hear the other guys like mumble, but that's about it.
He's
well,
saying
because we're mumbling. It's 100% intentional.
They're saying
be this podcast without technical problems.
You got that right. Yeah. No, what they're saying is basically this was the same guy that Pitts is. Like he's a big body receiver. By the way, E. Arbo jumps in. Drake London is filthy. I disagree. Public school kid, stayed home, basketball stud, can jump out of the gym, great hands. Yes, he's talented. But
Kyle Pitts.
But he's like maybe a faster version of Kyle Pitts. And you've already got Kyle Pitts. So
let me tell you another guy that had all of those attributes. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be this guy, okay? But I'm just saying N'Keal Harry looks exactly like that.
I was going to say N'Keal Harry, yeah.
I mean that you just described N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
And he's a Pac-12 receiver. Didn't play up against great defense. So.
Ay. All right, so Vikings.
Let's go. Who the Vikings taking here, Bubba?
Hey, McKinnon, we're going to go on and let you go. I appreciate you jumping in, buddy.
Love you, McKinnon.
Hey, thanks for having me, boys.
All right, be good, buddy.
Happy draft day.
Hey.
Go get
show. Go Falcons, go Chiefs, and get that War Eagle bullshit out of here. Love you, buddy.
Love you, man.
All right, I ended it before he could even finish the love yous. All right.
Booth is the odds-on pick here for the Vikings. They need a corner. I just think it makes too much sense.
I
want to see a quarterback here.
Your boy McKinnon has set his bar appropriately low for George Karlaftis to blow his doors off. I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. A bad thing.
Potential big happy ending for him.
Yeah.
So Chris, I don't think we're going to get a quarterback here.
No.
Because
that's what I want.
Well, I mean, they drafted Kellen Mond last year.
Yeah, but Kellen Mond's not good after 1 year of seeing. Listen, as soon as you missed, you swing again, right?
Swing again.
You don't just walk to the dugout after one strike.
That's a good point.
Cine?
Lewis Cine. Yeah.
Cine, yeah.
Yeah, Lewis Cine from Georgia. Okay.
What? We picked somebody I've not heard of.
Safety from Georgia.
No,
Safety from Georgia.
Lewis Cine is great.
Okay, all right. Safety, I understand. Like, he's just not a player that's on the radar right now, frankly.
Yeah.
So how many Georgia defenders not named Nakobe Dean is that? 6?
5, I think.
5?
Yeah, and Dean's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Dean was, the best of all of them last year.
I mean, he was the engine.
So I get it. This is a draft. This is a draft pick for need. That's fine. I think Booth is probably higher value, similar need, but so it goes. This is the Vikings didn't screw it up, so hooray.
How far do we think Dean falls tomorrow?
Not far.
Not at all.
Not far.
Because what's going to happen is, so you got overnight, right? So you got 24 hours, not 24 hours, but 20 hours that people are going to be calling Tampa and say, we got our guy there. I cannot, it's amazing how many times that first pick in the second round gets traded. It happens all the time because someone fell that someone wanted, and Tampa.
So let me ask you this:
33.
Tampa Bay's defense already really good, right?
Sure.
You put somebody next to my boy, and it just gets scarier.
By the way, his boy is Devin White. So
that's exactly what I was
thinking. I'm talking that is strength on strength. That defensive line is really good. The secondary is not great, but they're all coming back, so they got experience and know what they're doing. You add him to that defense, he doesn't have to come in and be the quarterback of it. Holy shit.
By the way, the Packers took 2 Georgia defenders.
Well, yeah.
22 and 28. They got Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. I didn't realize
this is the Raiders draft. It's just say, okay, who won the national championship? Let's just draft those players.
Probably a smart idea, really.
They got Aaron Rodgers absolutely no help.
No.
Well, but at that pick, though, there was no help to get, right? We all agree, had they taken a wide receiver at that point,
it's a reach.
We all laughed at them.
Yeah, it's a reach.
We finally got you a first-round wide receiver. Congratulations.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Okay.
Who was the most famous player drafted today?
Derek Stingley.
The most famous?
Famous. The most well-known, famous player drafted today.
I think Derek Stingley.
Because it's the least famous first round ever.
I agree with that.
Okay, so I think it's
I
somewhere between Derek Stingley and Kayvon Thibodeau.
Wow, I mean that's.
I don't know. I don't know playing in order.
Olave.
Gun to my head.
Olave might be
three-way between Pickett, Wilson, and Olave.
I don't think Pickett is that famous.
No, I mean, again, I'm not disagreeing. I just don't know who it is. I mean, Stingley, you're talking about a corner.
Yes, a corner that the whole country knew coming out of high school.
LSU country, South country, and football fans, yes. But I don't know. I mean, and again, I'm not saying there's an answer. I don't know who it is.
You might be right.
Derek Stingley hadn't played in 2 years, so
that's true. But I mean, he was kind of a star, though. I mean, coming out of high school, people knew his name.
Well, he was a star on that national championship team.
ESPN tried to make fetch happen with Aiden Hutchinson pretty bad.
Hutchinson's the most talked about for the last month.
Yeah,
probably.
But I mean, Pickett is a quarterback, so automatically they get more run,
helps.
And he finished third in the Heisman.
Yeah, but it's like even if we look at the quarterbacks who could have been picked, like Ritter, Willis, small school guys, right?
Yeah.
It would have been Corral. Matt Corral didn't get the national attention from last year.
Yeah, right.
Should have got it.
Pickett didn't either.
Pickett only had a great last month when the whole country was like, oh, damn, Pitt's better than we thought they were going to be. And this guy's kind of special. But that's it. It's not like nobody talked about him before November.
Stetson Bennett is 10 times more
famous than
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
than just about every guy in this first round. Yeah. It's weird.
You know what? Sam might be right. It probably is Chris Olave. I mean, you're talking about a star receiver from a monster school, right?
Multi-year.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was a star for 2 or 3 years at a monster school, just the biggest fucking school on the planet.
Yeah.
That's probably the answer, Sam. You're probably right on that.
Hamilton would be the other one, maybe like Kyle Hamilton. Like Notre Dame was a captain, was a leader of the defense the last 2 years.
Maybe, but
I mean, Dean would have been in the conversation if he would have got drafted.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
But I don't. But
I am a football fan, like a junkie football fan, and Nakobe Dean was not like a famous name in my mind.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, and I'm looking at the second round.
Hayden might have been the third pick there.
Yeah.
But you're right. We don't have stars in this draft at the numbers that we used to. We don't have guys, even if they ended up being bust, the whole country knew their name.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny Manziel was a complete failure. The whole country knew his name.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's nobody on this list as famous as either Bosa, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, not at all.
And like I'm looking at like ESPN's best available, right? Kenneth Walker's 13th. He'd be in the discussion. And he wasn't unbelievable, but I mean, you're talking a major Heisman type season.
Well, a Heisman type season from a running back position, which just doesn't happen in today's football.
But it's just weird. Just a weird draft.
I mean, it was, but I was kind of coming into this draft like expecting it to be weird, right? Because I didn't think anybody was predictable. I thought anything could happen. Anybody could go anywhere, really outside of Walker. I thought he was the clear first overall pick, and after I thought.
When did you think that? Like, when did you settle on Walker being the number one pick?
I thought he could have been the number one pick the second the season was over with. And we started looking at the draft, and everyone kind of honed in on him and Hayden being 1-2. And I saw how Hayden played in the playoffs. And then I said, I don't know that I would spend the first overall pick on a guy that completely got shut down against, of course, the best team that he played all year, but still, those guys are all over the NFL. That would make me nervous spending a first overall pick.
Yeah.
You ever know what tipped it? Because suddenly everyone was on that it was Walker, and that happened like that.
Yeah, it happened. It happened over the weekend.
That's because I don't think everybody was on, because I think everybody got the news. Like, I think it got leaked, and then once you know the answer to the test, it's no longer a test.
Yeah,
we all know the answer.
Yeah,
so I bet Trayvon Walker at plus 180 last Monday, and then by Saturday afternoon, it was like minus 165. By Tuesday, it was minus 250. Then today, it was like minus 400.
Yeah.
So
because you had the answer.
Yeah, it shifted very quickly. And the plus 180 was like, I grabbed that, and at one point, it was like plus 300. Like, I grabbed that after I saw some really smart people talking about the fact that, hey, like they've done like multiple interviews with this guy. They keep bringing him back, Like, it was, hey, all things are pointing this direction, and why would I bet the favorite when you can take the plus odds? Like, so that's the only reason why I took that one. Hey, did anybody have prop bets that they bet tonight?
No.
Chris, you didn't really have any?
Nope.
That's
not at all. Not one.
So
what'd you have, Gary?
The ones I gave out on the BetUS show, I had under 3.5 quarterbacks in the first round at minus 170. So that was a hit. I had Trayvon Walker to go number one overall. That was plus 180. That was a hit. Under 1.5 running backs, minus 180. That was a win. Evan Neal, first offensive lineman taken. That one didn't hit for me, but I had that at plus 150 because I didn't see a big difference between him and Ike Ekwonu.
Stop real quick.
All right.
What was the odds on minus 1.5? Less than 1.5 running backs was what?
Minus 180.
Minus 180. What were the chances of two running backs getting into this round?
No. It would have been one So it was under a half running back. So
half.
zero
I
running
thought it
backs.
was 1.5.
No,
I thought you said 1.5 also.
That's
No,
what
my
I
bad.
heard,
I
too.
was like, there was no.
No,
way.
I think you said 1.5.
Oh, my apologies. Under
Okay.
half a running back. So basically
okay.
zero running backs.
Free
Because
fall
I
or
was
not
I was
free
thinking the
fall,
same
right.
thing, John. I was like, minus 1.8. It's been like minus 500. Like, what are we
You can
talking?
talk
I was like,
you
that's
can talk
free
yourself into
money.
free fall, but like, who the hell is the second guy?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right,
Free
Kyle.
fall. Sorry, go ahead though.
Kyle Hamilton, even money to be drafted after pick 10.5. So I hit that one. Kenny Pickett to be drafted over pick 10.5. That was minus 180. Dax Hill to be drafted in the first round was minus 150. And then I had Garrett Wilson at plus 115 to be the first wide receiver taken. And obviously that went to Drake London. And then the picks I gave out on the BetUS social media thing today, Malik Willis over pick 13.5 at minus 150. I took a shot on Desmond Ridder being the first quarterback taken at plus 1,200, but obviously that one didn't hit. And now I've got one more out there, and it's John Mechie under pick 54.5 at minus 120. So far, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 7-3 so far.
Gary, do you know what under two QBs drafted in the first round?
Let's see. Hold on.
Was because you said under 3 was minus 180.
Well, under 3.5 was minus 180.
Okay, so 3 or less.
So 3 or less. Let's see.
So like 2.5 or less. I'm just curious what that would have been. Because that's obviously
I mean, again,
under
I didn't
1.5, but
I didn't see a single mock that had less than 2.
No, I didn't either. I didn't see any that had less than 3. Just such a quarterback driven. You just assume people are going to trade back.
I gotta think that was like plus territory.
Let's see.
In a world where Jared Goff and Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones all went in the top 5, I can't imagine like why these guys weren't taken in the first round.
Under 2.5 quarterbacks was plus 210 yesterday.
Woo! That's 2.5.
Yeah, and then under 1.5 was plus 560.
Yeah,
wow,
that'd have been sweet.
That would have been sweet.
Yeah,
but that's gambling. That's all in hindsight. Like none of us thought we might not have liked the quarterbacks, but we all thought some dumbass was going to jump in and take some.
Yeah, somebody was going to jump in.
100% convinced that these
someone was
going
to jump back into the end.
Yeah,
and
because we all know the value of that 5th option, but I guess teams are looking and saying Baker didn't make it to the 5th. Sam ain't making it to the 5th. Like Daniel Jones ain't making it to the 5th. Why do we care about this 5th option if these guys aren't making it?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is a way to hedge, right? If you're taking a long shot on a QB because the position's so valuable,
well, and
hedging it a little bit by saying, we're not going to mess around with that 5th option.
The other side of this is the fact that, like Chris, you talked about this earlier, you don't have to pay second rounders that much. Like you can get them for pretty cheap.
But you're not paying first rounders a lot when you're talking about the quarterback. So
yeah, I mean that is true. I'm just saying, like, if you think that all of these guys are projects and you are really going to have to work on them, taking them in the second round for even less money, just to see what you got.
But the issue is if it's a project, then you want that extra year because it's a project.
But the flip
so you're
side
wasting
is
two.
The flip side is if they hit, like if you got a stud, and you want that 5th year.
Yeah, you want you
right?
need it. Yeah,
truth.
Just to extend that window before you have to
give them $50 million.
Yeah, exactly.
A year. Hey, Scuzz, I wrote down that you are supposed to tell us your Ursher Super Bowl story.
Oh yes. So hold on, let me get my Bengals shirt back on for this.
I was impressed, by the way, how quick you got the Randall McDaniel jersey back on.
Oh yeah.
Well, the Vikings were picking right after that.
Yeah.
That was important.
But it came on quick.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they were picking. So
they were picking.
It was impressive.
I love the Bengals, but the Vikings are still my number 1 team. It's who I grew up with, right? Like,
well, yeah, they're the team of your youth. I'm the same way. Okay,
Yeah,
I love the Browns. I love the Browns. I love everything about Cleveland. But the Patriots were the team of my youth. What you love when you're 9 just doesn't ever get out of you. Never.
Yeah.
All right. Tell your story.
Sure. So, I I know the Bengals mascot, like personally.
That's
And
that's some big shit right there. I didn't know if you were waiting for a reaction or something.
I was just like,
Hey, in case y'all didn't know, like I got friends.
let that sink in.
Well, so at the Super Bowl, he was making his way through the basically on-field like suites of like famous people, and like, you know, saying what's up to this person and that person. He, you know, chat with Devin Booker for a little while and this and the other thing, and he got to the spot where Usher was, and Usher's wearing a Rams jersey, and he calls him out like, Usher, what the F are you doing? You're from like somewhere Ohio. You've got no business wearing that Rams jersey. But what was funny is that Usher's entourage started giving Usher shit too, which is the best part of this. And like, what makes it like extra funny is like, I'm telling this story and it doesn't land because I'm not in a fucking tiger costume.
Agreed.
When you don't expect me to talk to you, and all of a sudden the dude in the tiger costume is fucking calling out your boy Usher at the Super Bowl. And so that's my Usher story.
Usher Raymond, man.
Great.
That's so Chris Vernon was having a discussion with Roser the other day about who is more famous. Is Usher more famous than Peyton Manning? And I am curious y'all's thoughts on this. I think Peyton Manning is more famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so
here's the question.
In America, maybe. Internationally,
I think it's still Peyton.
Toss up.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think internationally they know our football stars.
Yeah.
They might not watch football, but they know our football stars.
I think internationally Usher is way fucking bigger.
Here's the real question. In the mid 2000s, when Usher was at his peak, was he more famous then than Peyton Manning? Because Peyton was also at his peak.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Again, I'll say internationally, 100%.
Because I think Peyton had a longer tail, so for sure. But that's a good question.
Because now Peyton's got all the commercials and like he's a much bigger household name now than he was in 2006.
I think Usher had him.
All right, how about this? What about Snoop?
No, Snoop is more famous than Usher or more famous than Peyton?
Both.
No
I think
contest.
Snoop's the most famous out of all of them.
I think Snoop's leaving them both in the dust.
100%.
Snoop's
100%.
Snoop's one of the most famous people on the planet. Like out of all the people.
That's true.
out of all the people.
I never thought about that. That absolutely is true. Everyone knows Snoop.
He's more famous than Dre.
Yeah, there's little Asian kids running around China that know exactly who Snoop is.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
That.
Chris, I think we're gonna have a blast when we go to Las Vegas, man. I think we might just be singing Snoop for 3 days. That'd be all right.
I got a good crew. I got a good crew so far. So,
well, I'm good with that. So, I always like the crew. All right. So, anybody have an idea on who had the best first round?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean,
The Jets.
I think the Jets nailed it.
Really, really hard to argue against the Jets.
I mean, they got Jermaine Johnson.
Picks.
So weird to say, but
Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson.
I've got an argument for somebody better than them.
If you say the Texans,
I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles got the best because
they got AJ Brown,
got the best player in the draft, and it ain't close.
All right, so they got the Eagles got what? Jordan Davis.
They got Jordan Davis and they got AJ Brown.
And they traded their second pick.
They basically traded Treylon Burks for AJ Brown.
I mean, like known commodity, right? So if you're hedging every one of these draft players, that like you don't know 100% if they're gonna pan out.
Yep.
Right? That's a fair point.
Yep.
Unless AJ Brown is like compromised in some way that we're just not aware of.
No, but he's just cost money, and that's it. He cost a first-round pick, and he cost $100 million contract. But $25 million a year for AJ Brown is nothing with what quarterback receivers are about to start making.
That's why I was ecstatic to take the number 9 pick and turn that into Russell Wilson.
You're right. Yeah. You guys getting Russell Wilson with your first round pick is amazing. The Browns getting Deshaun Watson is amazing. Getting AJ Brown is amazing. Like, these are things that are far worth the value of what they got for them. Okay. The Dolphins getting Hill, way better than you could do anything with. The Browns getting Amari Cooper for a 5th round pick. But that's going to be the steal of the draft. Like, that's just it.
I might have changed my mind. It might be the Broncos might be the winner.
Well, yeah, but that happened a long time ago. This happened tonight. So, I mean, yeah, getting the best quarterback is the
I would say
answer.
The other 2 that I would throw in would be New York and the Giants and Detroit. I think Detroit
did all right, yeah.
Like, is it that hard to imagine Jameson Williams being friggin' awesome? Like, I feel like that's on the table. And Hutchinson,
you're right.
And the same thing with Thibodeau. I'm like, Thibodeau was one of those guys where it's like a year ago, how many months was he holding that top spot, right? Like, he was a lot of people's number 1 overall pick for a long time. And then again, things got really squirrely with him in terms of like the way he was evaluated and everything. And
he was banged up too.
Say what?
Didn't he get banged up a little bit?
Yeah. Well, he was banged up last year, but then he was the guy who was the most like questions about, does he want to play football, that kind of stuff. And I saw a couple interviews with the guy. I thought he was awesome. I was like, this guy's cool. And then Neil. So, I mean, I think, it's one of those drafts where it just doesn't.
I'm trying to see what the Giants did other than the first
Did the
pick.
Giants trade?
They traded their no, they didn't. They took O'Neal. Neil. That's it. Okay.
Did they trade up into that number 7, or did they have 5 and 7 coming?
No, they had 5 and 7 was the Bears. That was
Oh, gotcha.
But they had 5 and 7.
The Bears.
I think the Giants kind of killed it. They got the 2 guys that were expected to go number 1 and number 2 before the college football season.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that can claim victory. The Ravens got the best safety and the best center.
I don't hate what Baltimore did, but Baltimore's one of the teams that every year
they always do well.
I've never seen them fuck up a draft. I know that.
Yeah.
They traded back and got 2 studs.
Yeah, that's the extra thing. Is they did this while trading back.
Jets, I think Jets take it because of the quantity of picks, and they actually got good dudes at those spots.
Yep. Oh, no. Well, I agree. I think the Jets probably are the number 2 pretty easily. All right. So I'm going to give you an option for rank these losers of the draft. Okay. You got the Patriots. You got the Panthers. I'm going to throw in Washington football team and
Commanders,
the Titans.
Got to get used to the Commanders.
Whatever.
Stupid as hell, but that's who they are now. Right?
Every time
I like the football team.
It sounds like a USFL team.
Why are Panthers on your list? Is it simply because
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
I will say this: Ike Ekwonu, he was known for his run blocking, not his pass blocking. In this league,
I guess they're just going to run the football because
you
they know
got
they
Christian
can't throw
McCaffrey,
it.
right?
That's got to be it.
But that's irrelevant. You could have a ham sandwich back there. You got Sam Darnold.
It doesn't mean he was bad at pass blocking.
Well,
yeah,
he was one of those guys, like the handful of 3-4 guys who were briefly in that pole position spot in public consensus.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's not a stud, and I'm not saying he's not maybe the best offensive line to come out of this draft. I'm not saying any of that. I guess it's hard for me to look at a football team with Sam Darnold as a quarterback and think none of this stuff matters. Having a great offensive line doesn't matter. Like, nothing else matters.
Do you honestly think that Sam Darnold is taking the snap on the opening night?
Yeah. Well, who else is?
Baker Mayfield?
Yeah. Potentially.
Hey, E. Arbo jumped in, by the way, said just call them the Commandos. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that people have started calling them the Commies, right?
No, that's what they were worried about, but I don't think anybody actually ever has.
Well, I mean, maybe we could start it.
No, I don't want to start that.
You like Ron too much, don't you?
I like the problem is they're not very good and they're not a whole lot of fun to watch either. But I really like Ron. I really like Jack, and that's an issue. They got two coaches that I'm a pretty big fan of.
But I'll tell you this: you're not going to like them very much this year because of Carson. So
Well, yeah, I don't understand that. And if Ron Rivera had anything to do with that, I'm thinking, listen, you should. My stepdad has been on chemo for a long, long time. Listen. Chemo does something to your brain. You shouldn't be able to make major franchise decisions. All right. Carson Wentz thing should have never happened. Shouldn't have been allowed to happen for that franchise.
I think I might agree with you.
I think our guy Jason Wright is the president of the Commanders too, so it's like I wince a little bit more every time.
So like, it's your fault.
For example, that they're the Commanders, but I think we all know who's driving that ship. I would say.
I do not believe
bigger problems than the name in that.
I'm going to tell you that Dan is not driving that ship. I don't think Dan has made a decision there. No, I don't think Dan's made a decision for the last 2 years. I think that has been stripped of him, and he's been told to sit in a corner and stay quiet. And he hasn't been told that by his wife or anybody in that building. He's been told that by his attorneys. Get the fuck in the corner and don't say anything.
Yeah, just collect your check. That's it. You're the owner of the team. Just take your check and go hang out in Cabo.
Go, yes. Disappear for a while because we haven't heard from Dan in a long time. And that is by design. I guarantee that.
Who makes that Commander's decision then?
I think it's the front office. I think it's your boy. I think it is the president of the team.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I've got a gnat flying around me that has been bugging me all night. I cannot kill this son of a bitch. I swear to God. He gets right in my face every time I take a drink of this scotch. I'm like, where did you come from?
Give him a drink of the scotch, Jesus.
Oh, God almighty. All right, so the loser of the draft, Chris, I'm going to have to go with your Patriots here.
Yeah, I was going to go with the Pats too, Chris.
Very strange pick.
I think that's a consensus.
The ESPN stat said that there was a 93% chance that he would have been available for their second-round pick.
Yeah.
And what is their second-round pick? 50-something? 54.
He'll be a day 3 guy. They took him with the first pick because Bill hates you. Listen, this is one of my rules a long time ago. Bill Belichick hates
and the next
guts.
2 picks were Karlaftis and Daxton Hill too.
Yeah,
Daxton Hill
stings.
Hill or Dean are both too hard to pass up.
All right, so Patriots draft history. Last year.
We were talking about Sonny Michel.
Last year, they take Mac Jones, Christian Barmore, Ronnie Perkins, Ramondre Stevenson, who looks like a stud, Cameron McGrone, Joshua Bledsoe.
He hits on he has a better hit rate on the late round guys than anybody in football history.
Trey Nixon and William Sherman. All right, so 2020, Kyle Duggar was their first pick at number 37. Then they had Josh Uche from Michigan. The Kyle Duggar one was funny. I remember us doing this, like me and you were texting, because the first pick that he had in that draft, he took a guy from Lenore Rhine. It's like, what the hell? They took Anthony Jennings that year, Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene, let's see, Michael Onwenu, Justin Heron, blah, blah, blah. All right, N'Keal Harry was another first-round pick, 2019. Chase Winovich was third-round pick. Oh, Joanne Williams.
Well, that Winovich pick was a absolute steal, and I cannot believe he traded him away.
Oh, I got that son of a bitch. Got him. All right. Yeah, I'm a little surprised they traded him too. That was the year they took Jarrett Stidham. Is Stidham on the team?
Surely not.
They were very confident in him about 18 months ago.
2018, they had 2 first-round picks, and they took 2 guys from Georgia, Isaiah Wynn and Sony Michel.
Who neither are on the team anymore.
Of course. I don't know out of that 2018 draft if there's a single guy left. Duke Dawson, Jawan Bentley, Christian Sam, Braxton Berrios, Danny Etling, Keon Croson, and Ryan Izzo. I don't think there's anybody from that one. 2017, they only had 4 picks. The first one was Derek Rivers in the 3rd round, and then Antonio Garcia 2 picks later.
Stidham's still on the roster, holding that 3rd string down.
Hell yeah, he is. Cyrus Jones, 2nd round pick in 2016. Malcolm Brown, 2015, 1st round pick. That one hit. Dominique Easley. Have they had a 1st round guy actually hit? 2012, Chandler Jones. Dante Hightower in 2012.
Okay, how long? All right, you just fucking Dante Hightower's about to retire.
10 years. 10.
Gary, Dante Hightower. You just gave me Hightower, and Hightower might not play this year. He's that fucking old.
I mean,
10.
He hit on one in 2012. There are a lot of years he didn't have one. So 2013, there was no 1st round pick. 2014, they had Dominique Easley.
This is the shit you have to deal with only because you're for the Patriots, Chris.
2015, they got Malcolm Brown. 2016, didn't have one. 2017, didn't have one. 2018, Isaiah Wynn and Sonny Michel. Whatever happened to Isaiah Wynn?
Oh, that's a really good question. He might still be there, but he's hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, he played for the Patriots last year. He started 15 games for him last year.
Woo-hoo.
Played in 16, but started 15.
So they got a starter in the first. They got one starter in the 1st round in the last decade.
In 2018. Then 2019, N'Keal Harry, they didn't have one in 2020, and then they got Mac Jones last year. So,
so he played 15 last year. In 2020, he played 10. In 2019, he played 8.
Yeah.
This is the reason he's still around is because they still don't know what he can do. He still can't stay on the field.
I mean,
hopefully it's all right. 15 games a lot.
He started 15 games. Like that's pretty good.
I feel like for the first time in forever too, you're watching what another team in the East is doing. It's like, who did the Bills get? Because it's like, which hasn't been. I mean, for most of your life, not most of your life, but far back as any of us can remember, it hasn't been that way.
No, we were always worried, what are the Steelers doing, what are the Ravens doing? Because those are the only 2 teams in the AFC that scare us.
Right.
Or when Peyton Manning was alive, what are the Colts? What are the Colts doing? But that's the list. That's the only list that we cared about because the incompetency of the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets for 15 of those 20 years.
Right. Now it's like, now the Bills are like, now you have to look and be like, all right, so like, what does Elam do for them? Et cetera. So
yeah. The Bills took Gregory Rousseau
I
last
found
year.
the Bills to be like, here's the problem. When none of those teams have been a threat for a long time, like I don't understand how you hate somebody that you just destroy all the time. So I have no real hatred for them. Now I'm certain that give it a couple of years of the Patriots sucking some dick and these other teams getting better, they'll start hating them. But like every year the Patriots would split with the Dolphins, no matter how bad the Dolphins were, how good the Patriots were, it didn't matter. And I just didn't care. Like I didn't care to lose that divisional game because that might be the only divisional game we're just going to lose.
Eric, do you have a question?
I would like to submit the Fighting Illini as Exhibit A.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I can't do it. I just can't. I can't hate a team that's not a threat to me. I mean, Gary does the same shit with Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. I mean, they've completely destroyed them for 20 years.
I was gonna say Tennessee.
And he can tell you how many days.
Else.
Yeah, he can tell you how many days it's been since Tennessee's beaten Alabama, and I think that's insane. Like the idea that you know how many days that you've beaten up this special needs team. Come on, what are we talking about? And now they're competitive. Now they look competent. We're talking about 20 years of just garbage.
Do they?
And you're proud of that? Yeah, I think Tennessee's going to be real competitive.
I mean, yeah, they'll be all right. Like,
well, one of them just said, "Do they?" So the answer is yeah. And you say they'll be all right. They're gonna beat your ass one day.
Like Gary's like, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back.
They're handing out $8 million a pop to land these players. You know, they're stocking up.
The last time it was updated, December 2nd. So as of December 2nd, it was 5,521 days since Tennessee beat Alabama. So, I mean, what are we looking at now? Since December 2nd, we're almost to May 2nd. We're looking at, another 5 months, 150 days. So toss in 5,670 something days. Not bad.
I'm not doing that math.
Oh, man. All right, so let's see. So Lamar, you figure Lamar Jackson's happy?
He's okay. I think something pissed him off. Losing Hollywood. But it'll be all right.
I don't think he's happy at all.
I don't think he should be that upset about Hollywood. Like, this is the problem with some of these guys wanting to pick their own guys. Like, we saw a couple of years ago, Aaron Rodgers was bitching because we let all these guys go, and, like, a lot of those guys really aren't that good. It's like, yeah, you were friends with them, and they might have been cool to hang with in Wisconsin when there's nothing else to do. But, Jesus, man, we're trying to win football games here.
True.
Like, I want Randall Cobb back. Like, that's the hill you're going to die on?
What did they get for it again?
What did they get for what?
For Brown. What did the Ravens get?
Well, shit.
I don't know that we know the details on the trade.
I don't know that we got the details.
Yeah, because they didn't get another pick. Like, they didn't get a first-round pick in it. Oh, no, maybe they did get a first-round pick. Hold on.
Yeah, they get for the first-round pick. For
the 25th pick.
Yeah. They got the Cardinals pick.
So it's that's Linderbaum.
Green Bay, please draft Sam Howell so Aaron Rodgers has somebody to hang out with in Wisconsin.
Oh, my God, that'd be so funny. Oh, my God, that'd be so funny.
Oh, no. Buffalo traded Baltimore that 25th pick. So which pick did the Ravens get from?
I'm looking right here. It says Arizona Cardinals acquire Ravens wide receiver Marquise Brown for first-round pick.
Okay, I think NFL.com just has this. Yeah, they just got this jacked.
And that was pick 25.
No, it was pick 23.
It was pick 23.
Baltimore
and then
traded.
The Bills traded with the Ravens to jump up to 23. That's why the Ravens pick at 25, not 23.
That's right.
This is how the math works, guys. Come on. Y'all are gonna let the guy.
So they got
Linderbaum.
So they got Linderbaum plus whatever nickel and dime they got to swap those picks.
I'm gonna bet they got like a 6th-round pick or something.
Okay.
Stupid, but yeah.
Okay, I can get with that. David Hale over at ESPN. In the last 2 first rounds, there have been 3 FCS picks. There have been 3 picks from future Big 12 teams, and there have been
future Big 12 teams.
And there have been 0 picks.
Hang on,
from Big 12.
Hang on. This is
0 picks from where?
From the Big 12.
Wow.
In 2 straight drafts.
This is the bullshit propaganda gaslighting stuff that college football does. We're not going to say that the American has more draft picks than the Big 12 because we're going to already go ahead and give them credit for all these guys. Fuck shit.
This is David Hale still talking smack about the current Big 12. So no Texas guys, no Oklahoma guys, no Oklahoma State guys.
Oh, but Hollywood Brown, we're going to run it back.
We're going to run it back.
All those guys are good.
No Texas. Right, and isn't Texas? Don't they have ESPN has Texas like 7th next year or something?
Yep.
In like FPI.
They sure do.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'll take the under on whatever number comes out with them.
Oh.
Their number is going to be close to okay. I can see it. That'll be about 8.5.
I'll take anything under 8.
Sounds reasonable. Boy, that is interesting. Boy, the more I look at this Jets draft, the more I'm
like
all
it.
In. Yeah,
it's good. Oh well, I mean, there's a world where they got the 2 kind of out. I know I'm biased. Outside of maybe Stingley, I think Stingley went over Sauce because Stingley is more athletic than Sauce. But there's a world where they got the 2 most athletic guys in the draft.
It's very possible. Let's see. What did the Jets do last year? They got
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean they got Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter.
Oh, yeah, they had a real good draft last year because they got more.
So
Yeah.
The only thing they did not solve is there's a lot of questions around Becton, right? At
They still have a lot of holes. They were a bad football team for a long time. So 2 good drafts means you got a bunch of sophomore year and rookie year guys that are the best players on the team and the leaders on the team, and that's not what you want.
They got to string another couple good years together before.
Yeah, they need last year's draft class and this year's draft class to be 4 or 5 years old.
Yep, and last year was the first one with Saleh and that new bunch. So
the whole new regime. You're talking president, everybody. So,
yeah, this is. I like what they're doing. Like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the when that new group took over the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
and they started drafting like really efficient, like players that were more valuable than where you actually drafted them.
That's right.
Like, and not that Ahmad Gardner is like, I don't know that he would have gone any higher than 4th.
Yeah,
but
right.
But they still, I mean, they killed this thing. Like,
I think they had a
great draft.
I promise this is not sour grapes. It does not take a rocket scientist to draft John Morant.
Agreed, but it's not just
he's
Morant.
Talking about Bain. He's talking about Clark. He's talking about like the listen. This team is about as deep as they come. Don't get me started with the Grizzlies now. We'll go all night. I've done had a whole pot of coffee. No, this team is loaded.
But the T-Wolves have made like one good decision in Anthony Edwards and a bunch of really terrible decisions, and they're like.
But no, they built
you
built your team with a bunch of strange trades and free agent signings.
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody in the world would have thought the combination of Russell and Beverly and another young stud would have ever been anything, or that you would be getting what you're getting out of Cat. So that team is young and in really good hands, I believe. This Grizz team, yes, Ja is a stud. But when you look at Clark, when you look at Bain, when you look at these other guys that have been drafted over the last couple of years.
And the guys that they traded for, right? Tyus Jones as a backup point guard is, I mean.
Well, he's probably the best backup point guard in the league, which backup point guard is not something a lot of people go after. But
that's very fair.
But you see how important it is.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, it's incredibly important. Let's see. Pulling up the Grizzlies here. Let's see.
I would
Dylan Brooks
absolutely tear the heart from my chest to give it to Brandon Clark if he needed
it. They took Zaire Williams last year with the 10th pick.
Zaire was a hell of a pickup.
Xavier Tillman, like nobody wanted him in the draft, and they got him in the 2nd round, and he's doing pretty good. Slow-mo, Kyle Anderson they got from San Antonio. DeAnthony Melton, the guy they'd signed to 3 straight 10-day contracts, and then he ended up with a 2 or 3 year deal. So I mean they got some dudes.
They've drafted really well. They've built this team. That's a decent comp. I mean, we have to see how it turns out in football because
it's way
basketball,
different.
You get results immediately.
Yeah. Well, one guy, I mean, short of a QB, right?
Well, that's it because you're a 5-man roster, and if you're 1/5 of that, that's almost impossible to not be great.
But so tomorrow, the real question is, do we think that Mercedes is taking care of the porpoising for the Miami race this weekend?
Next weekend. I doubt it. I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I'm not all the way caught up yet. Don't.
Speaking of Vegas, Vegas F1 2023.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Do they have a race?
You don't listen. I'm a fair to middling dad. All right, but you don't have to convince me very hard to take a trip. All right, I'll hop on a plane in a second.
They're shutting down the strip for F1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, Scuzz, you live in Cincinnati, and it's just a complicated place to get to and to do anything with.
I was about to say, I've been waiting for you to come to the Natty for 3 years.
I understand that, but think about the conversation I have to have about going to Cincinnati.
We had a pandemic, I realize.
Well, that didn't stop me going anywhere. Here's the issue is I can get a one-way ticket for like $80 to Chicago. All right.
It is true.
And I'm in Chicago, Scuzz. I mean, I love Cincinnati, but come on, man.
To get
to my spaghetti, and you want me to come visit your city? I ain't down with that.
To get to Cincinnati, Chris and I both would have to go through the Bourbon Trail, and we just never get there. So, you know.
Fuck, dudes, I'll meet you on the Bourbon Trail.
There you go.
Well, we can do the draft there next year.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
That's what I'm doing this thing in person.
I think I like that
because
idea.
I don't have an excuse to take a trip in April ever.
Number of draft picks per state in the first round. Y'all ready for this?
Oh, geez.
Hey, let me get a guess.
Hang on, is this the state they played college, or this is
the state? No, the state where they are from, like where they played high school ball.
Okay, so the high school.
Oh, okay.
Anybody want to take a stab at number 1, 2, 3?
I'm gonna take a stab.
Florida?
I assume it's Georgia.
I bet the state of Florida is number 1.
Incorrect.
Oh, shit.
California with
California.
5.
Oh, Cali.
Yep.
Wow.
Texas had 4.
Yeah.
Georgia had 3. Florida, Iowa, Minnesota, Mississippi, and North Carolina all had 2.
I knew Mississippi had 2.
Texas, I love, you said Texas had how many?
4.
Texas had 4, but the Big 12 had 0.
Oh, yeah.
This is
a trend.
Arkansas, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Minnesota. Michigan had 2, not Minnesota. Sorry. Louisiana, Maryland, Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Tennessee all had 1.
Where's
Not a
Hutchinson
goddamn
from?
kid from Alabama.
Is
That must
Hutchinson from
pissing
Michigan
you
originally?
off.
I think he's
California,
from
I
Michigan.
think. Hutchinson? I think isn't he from California?
Yeah, no, Plymouth, Michigan is his birthplace.
Oh,
He's
Okay.
he's hometown boy.
Stayed at home too, so
No,
easy
it
pick
doesn't
for
bother
mine.
me that there ain't anybody from Alabama. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think all of the quarterbacks go tomorrow?
No.
Let's say Drew Howard.
I thought there was a world where they all went
round.
today.
Second and third round. We got 2
Oh,
rounds.
is tomorrow second and
Oh, yeah,
third?
second and third.
They're all
Tomorrow,
going.
second and
They're all
third.
going tomorrow.
Yes.
They're all going.
Let's say second round. Do we think they all go to
I
second?
don't know that now. I would have said
No.
100% yesterday,
Yeah.
but I
think
didn't
Malik-
think there was a world that
who-
we
who-
didn't get 3 today.
Who's
Malik
in your-
is going.
Yeah, Malik and Ritter are going tomorrow.
Yes.
For sure.
In
Hang
the
on, where do the
second- in the
Seahawks
second round.
pick? Seahawks
I
pick
think
40.
Corral will be too. I think Corral will too.
I think Corral's going tomorrow, and I think Corral's going to be. There's a world where Corral might take New York.
Seahawks
Well,
pick 8 and 9.
Howell is the question for me. Like, I don't know that Howell goes round 3.
Yeah, Howell probably third round. Carson
I can't
Strong
imagine the Seahawks
third round.
not taking a quarterback because they're 40 and 41 back to back,
Yeah, the Seahawks will take Corral at
and a
40
bunch
or
of teams
41.
and a bunch of teams in front of them that won't take a quarterback in Texans, Jets, Bears, Vikings, Bucks.
I feel like at some point,
The Giants might take Malik too.
Yeah, I could see the Giants taking a quarterback here. I could see the Titans taking a quarterback here.
The Giants taking a quarterback would be the most validating thing of our visceral reaction 2
To the
years
Daniel
ago
Jones.
to the Daniel Jones.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Out
This
of
is just one, another.
Chris, you were in a movie theater, but the rest of the 4 of us like fucking flipped the fuck out. when that
yeah,
happened.
No, I didn't miss 2 years ago. I missed 3 years ago.
Was it 3
Yeah,
years?
that was the
ago?
Daniel
Yeah, it was-
Jones pick.
yeah, because he went to
Yeah,
see
no.
Avengers.
Oh,
Oh,
Mr.
you said
Daniels
two-
is-
okay.
It was 2
Um,
drafts ago. That
let's
was
see.
the one you missed.
It was whenever in games came out.
Do y'all realize who the youngest quarterback still available is? I guess the youngest quarterback in the draft.
Huh. Let me see.
Is
I mean,
Zappy?
I would assume it
Oh,
was.
Zappy's
Malik.
old, isn't he?
I thought Malik
Yeah.
was the youngest.
Bailey Zapp is he's just a senior. Anybody want to stab? John, I'm waiting on you. Are you trying to
I'm
look it up?
looking it up.
I'm looking. Is it Willis? I don't know.
No.
That's what I
Willis
said.
Willis is a redshirt senior.
Oh,
Matt
no.
Corral is a redshirt junior.
Yeah, I knew Matt Corral was going to be too old.
Kenny Pickett was, old as hell,
Oh, he
redshirt
was- yeah, he
senior,
was
but
like
He
6
took his
years.
COVID year.
Desmond Ritter, redshirt senior.
Yep.
Um,
I knew Ritter was old.
Is it Carson?
Nope. Sam Howell,
It is Sam Howell. Wow.
straight junior.
How old is Sam?
Just 3 years out of high school.
Wow.
Sam
Holy
Howell
shit.
also doesn't throw over the middle.
Yeah.
This is true. But he also
Sam
didn't
Howell
have
had a lot
time
more
this year.
talent around him, and against pretty mediocre defenses sometimes, and he still didn't win a lot.
Look, a North Carolina quarterback without a lot of experience. What could go wrong?
Exactly.
Hang on. He's been a starter for 3 years now. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Trubisky-
stand by and let
Not
you do
Trubisky.
that.
Yeah, was it Trubisky? Yeah, Trubisky.
Yeah, Trubisky.
Mitchell
Yeah,
had like
Trubisky
9
had 1
games.
year.
Yeah, he
And
well,
I
it
don't
was-
think it was a full year.
I don't even think he
got
started the
12
full
games.
year.
I'll
Yeah.
just go out on the street here and ask anyone feels about Trubisky.
There's a lot of real sadness in Chicagoland about him being gone.
Bridge quarterback Mitchell Trubisky.
I will tell you this, as the resident Steelers fan here, it's now between Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, or Mitchell Trubisky, and I kind of feel like they're all the same guy.
No, that is not okay. That is not. Mitchell Trubisky has not been good. Mitchell Trubisky could be a starting quarterback in the NFL. You just cannot say that about Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
you might be right.
I'm going all in on Pickett and being like,
and that's fine because he could come in, be a rookie, and just be somebody. Both of those guys, head and shoulders better than Mason. Mason's in the room because you have to have 3 people in the room. That's the only reason he's in the fucking room.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Dustin
65
Crum,
quarterbacks in the NFL. Mason Rudolph is worse than all of them.
Jack Cohn, Dustin Crum, Bailey Zapp, Chase Garbers.
Carson Strong was a guy that was getting like a lot of.
Is that the guy from
Nevada? Nevada, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
Nevada.
There's been a lot of chatter at like at the beginning of the football season, college season, etc. Like, seems to have fallen off a little bit. I don't know.
He's got a leg injury.
Is that it?
Like, yeah, that's it.
But like big body, played in that interesting Nevada offense.
He definitely had. There was some buzz around him for sure.
There is, yeah, for sure.
A lot of it's probably just he's prototypical size. He's got a big arm, all that.
Yeah.
But he's not overly talented, and now he's injured. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
It's hard to assess traits if you can't watch him work out, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, but if somebody takes a flyer on him, Zappy's the type of guy that is going to be, the Gus Frerotte of the next, 12 years.
Well, I mean, what he's going to end up being in this draft and for a team is going to be a lottery pick. I mean, sometimes I buy a lottery ticket because I got a couple of bucks in my pocket just burning a hole in it.
But he's a dude who's super smart. He knows exactly what to do in any moment.
And
he has a noodle arm, but he
noodle arm
for it with his brain and his timing, right? And so he's the perfect third string back. And QB is going to be in the league forever.
His hands are 9 3/4 inches.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Bailey Zapp. Yeah, that's him.
I
don't
know.
E. Arbo jumped in, by the way. Mason Rudolph's girlfriend is smoking hot. Well, that's got to be why he's still on the team.
I saw Sam Bradford and his girlfriend at a burger joint in Dallas many years back, and similar.
Well, okay, yeah. That didn't surprise me that super rich guys have hot girlfriends.
QBs have hot girlfriends, right? Yeah.
So, question.
Yeah.
Does Matt Araiza go tomorrow?
No.
Yes. Third round.
Tomorrow or second round? Okay, all right. See,
third round.
My brain is locked in. It'll only be in second round. All right.
No, he'll be a third round. He goes
tomorrow. I agree with that.
Third round?
Yes, the punt god. He is worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Somebody's going to do it because of it's just a thing to do. Because their team it's going to be a team that's been really boring for a long time. And
is it going to be Bill Belichick?
No.
My God. Could you imagine him in Denver with the altitude?
That'd be incredible.
But I wonder how hard it would be for him to adjust, because it's not that he booms it so far. It's he can put it anywhere he wants on the field. And if he's never kicked in altitude, how hard would it be for him to adjust? Don't kick this that hard.
You want that dude at sea level where he's been I think that for however many years.
Yeah, I'm with you. If he goes from a very humid place to a dry, altitude and dry, I don't know that is that easy.
He's a god regardless. I would love to see him go tomorrow.
I do love when like a punter or a special teams guy, like a field goal, not just special teams guys, but like a kicker, a nerd. That they were all the nerds when I played football. I like that they get drafted now. I like that teams realize, fuck it, let's just take the best player at the best position, right?
Sebastian Janikowski, first round pick.
God, I love that man. Once I realized you need to stop being like having heroes that are superstar athletes, because you'll just never be that. I was like, if I could live the life of Sebastian Janikowski, that's got to be the greatest life in the world.
Do the Chargers need a punter?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Hey, so let's ask this.
What about Tampa? Does Tampa need a punter?
Oh, yeah. No, they could use one. Everybody could use
everyone needs a punter, right?
Yeah. I just don't know who you like. I couldn't tell you who's a good punter and who's a bad punter to be able to say this team needs a punter. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Fair.
The Pats might have the best punter in the football last year. I don't know.
It's more of a question of like not enough needs elsewhere, right?
So yeah, that's the team I could see.
Tampa like rings that bell big time.
Is a team that doesn't have a need. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Tampa's on the clock, and you're taking Dean, and that's what you're doing. If you're me, now I'm sure a lot of people disagree with that because they say they don't need that, but they don't need anything. So
yeah, I mean maybe O-line, but like so many of those guys went first round. Like you're not gonna go O-line.
I mean they
tight
could,
end,
but they probably could.
Is Gronk coming back or is Gronk done? I mean, that's the question.
No, I think Gronk's done. But even if you're the franchise, you have to think more than this year too. If Gronk plays, how good is he? How sold are we on the other guys that we have? And
I think they either bolster D-line or they go Dean. That's
I
what
will tell you this: being a fan of Tom and being a fan of Devin White. I mean, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that at all.
If they don't trade out, I think that Tampa Bay is going to go offensive line.
You think so? There's not a lot of guys at the top of the space right now. Like they could trade down and still get O-line.
That's the thing. I would bet that they trade. My bet is you trade down because someone
that's
wants
probably
Jacoby Dean and will pay extra for him, and Tampa will take that. Yeah. Right? Someone's moving up for Dean.
Yeah, somebody will move up.
Able to do that.
Yeah,
but that'll never happen.
That's interesting.
Look, and I feel like there's going to be a run on running backs tomorrow, and I'm wondering when it's going to be.
You think because, a run?
For the first round, you're like, all right, well, it's just Breece Hall or nobody. But when you start looking at the second round, I'm like, both the Georgia backs, Walker. I could see Hall going off the board, and then there being a run on a lot of these guys.
I don't know, man. That would shock me, but
I mean, again, it's like I guess it's all like relative grades. Once you get down to the second round, I'm still wondering when all these quarterbacks are going to go. I don't know.
That's what I'm looking up right now. Just trying to get an idea. Like Nakobe Dean would make a lot of sense, especially if at this point you're just going for.
But hang on, when we all kind of agree that he's probably the best player on the board, he would make a lot of sense for all 32 teams.
Exactly.
He's the best player left to take.
Now, if you're drafting for need, then okay, like I don't know.
I don't like the idea of being out of a premium spot and saying we're now drafting for need. And the reason that doesn't make sense to me, or that's hard for me to deal with, is because the hit rate. Now, I guess all these teams think that their hit rate's 100%. The hit rate, the later the draft goes, the smaller it goes down. You need to be taking elite talent, because that elite talent, you might at least, even if it's not a need, you can trade it for a better version of the need than taking a shot at a question mark for some position you really need. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think the smart thing... I know
teams do it, but I don't like it.
Smart thing would be to take Nakobe Dean. That would be the smart pick.
I mean, but like I said, I don't know I get credit for saying that, or anybody does, because that's the consensus. So,
yeah. I mean, the highest rated offensive lineman left on the board is Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan. He's 6'6", 303. And I mean, he was rated as like a first round guy. Like, basically will eventually be a plus starter, but he doesn't help you this year.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see where Daniel Fa'alele goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet he goes second round based on nothing more than his size.
He's mass.
I mean that dude.
I mean, if you were worried about Icky's, run blocking to pass blocking ratio, like Palale.
Yeah, you're not wrong. If they're looking for somebody to replace Gronk, well, I mean, they could take Trey McBride out of Colorado State.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad pick. I was looking at that. So when do we think David Ajabu? Yeah, I'm not gonna say that well.
I mean, someone's got to snap him up fairly early, right? Second round.
My question is, do you think he can make it to Cleveland, or is that asking too much? 44. That's a lot. That's passing the Bears. That's passing Seattle.
I think the Browns are taking a wide receiver.
Ooh, I don't know that we agree there.
I mean, does he go before Boye Mafe?
Well, I'm not saying he's the best player left at that position. I'm just asking, because of his injury and stuff, do you think teams will take a chance on him?
Yeah, absolutely.
They should. They should in the second round.
Yeah.
Because that's what my question is I want Cleveland to do it. I think Cleveland will if he's there. My question is how many teams might pass on him?
Does he make it through 11 picks?
Yeah.
I mean,
two of them are from Seattle too, and that scares me because I think they need it and I think they'd take it.
Oh, they're taking a quarterback with one of them.
But that still leaves the other. That's the question.
Colts maybe might. I don't know.
I don't know, man. They're pretty loaded on the front line. But
Falcons.
Well, and that's why I say the Colts might make sense because they're loaded. They don't need him right away. You rehab him. Like
he could just be.
That's where I think like someone who may not need him right away.
So I'll tell you why his name comes up. It comes up in Cleveland because of what happened last year with KOJ, is being a guy who had bad medicals, fell to them, and he was perfectly fine. And the medicals were just wrong. And is there a chance that this guy's much healthier than everyone's giving him credit for?
A torn Achilles.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles at his pro day. Like it, I think
in March. I mean,
I understand that, but it's not like guys don't come back from that.
Oh,
true.
You absolutely do come back from that, but not in like.
Well, okay, so it's not the same as last year, but
yeah, it's a little bit different.
That's like a year rehab.
Well, no. He's not going to play next year. I get that.
Oh, but he'll absolutely like. There's no reason why he wouldn't come back at 100%.
So I guess I'm not asking this question right, so that's my fault. But like the teams ahead of him, like if you're the Falcons, do you want a project or a health risk? Because at some point in time, they're going to have to win some ball games. So they need someone more, maybe more.
The Falcons are not going to try to win ball games next year. They're going to try to tank.
Yeah. McKinnon was not wrong there. I think they are shooting for Bryce Young. So
here's the Giants are almost certainly taking an outside linebacker. With the 4th pick in the second round. So that like whether that's Mafe or
I think the Giants. I do think the Giants are going to be in tank mode because I think they're out on. They've already made it clear they're out on Daniel Jones.
So it's one of those two guys. So then he's got to go another 8 picks to get to Cleveland.
And then I think Seattle's going to be in the mix for that, and they've got 2 picks.
As could Atlanta.
So that hurts. All of that hurts me.
If Dean is still there, Atlanta and Seattle probably have inside needs more than outside. But if Dean goes number 1,
I don't think Dean's making it to Atlanta or Seattle.
I don't think so either.
That's too far down.
Yeah.
So it's just like running
Jets, Bears, Houston could all consider inside linebacker, right?
All of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of those guys are making it.
I'm just like running through being like, of all like the college football that we've watched, like who's left that I love. It's not a super long list.
David Bell.
Bell. I was just about to say the easiest one for me is it's Corral and Bell.
Yeah, Bell for sure. Leo Chenal still available. I feel like he's going to do better on a team that runs a 3-4, but he's still a great inside linebacker. And Brisker from Penn State. Brisker, I felt like, was in a lot of positions where he was doing a ton of stuff from them. for a position that's not normally a super impact position. So, but again, and it's like it's relative at this point. But there's not a heck of a lot of guys. Yeah, like I love Bell as much or more than anyone else that's left.
I'll be interested to see where Wan'Dale Robinson ends up.
Agreed. I think he's a third-round guy.
Him up earlier because he's right ahead of Bell on the wide receiver list, right? And I think that's a dude that has not shown a lot of success as a wide receiver.
Certainly
as an athlete, 100%. As a wide receiver, now, whether that's mismanagement by his coaching staff or something else is TBD. But
he's just another Debo. Like,
could be.
You put him in at San Francisco, and they'll trade Debo in a heartbeat.
I'd be real careful when we just start throwing around.
I don't know. We saw a lot of Wan'Dale Robinson. At no point did I say, "Oh my God, that's
he was never that explosive."
Hey, does anybody?
I don't know that I can stand by and just let that happen.
He's 5'8".
Does anybody believe that Brock Purdy is going to be drafted at any point?
No.
I mean, his name jumps out on the list because
only to college football fans. Only to college football fans.
Yeah, right.
The NFL scouts do not want Brock Purdy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've just seen. I can tell you so much more about him than I can tell you about Carson Strong. But I mean,
that's because we watched 25 games over the last 4 years of Brock Purdy.
I mean,
Josh Paschal from Kentucky.
Yeah.
He put up insane numbers.
Part of Purdy's problem is that he's only 6'1".
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that and he likes to throw the ball to the wrong color jersey.
But if he was 6'3", they would overlook that fact, and that's why Jack Cohn is
getting
drafted and Purdy will not.
Malik Willis,
I don't think Cohn's getting drafted, but I don't know.
We'll see.
7 rounds is a long time.
True. It's true.
Sky Thompson will probably go in the second round. Arbo asked about him. He asked, where do you guys think the running backs fall to?
That's what we were just talking. It's going to be a run.
So here's we've got Breece Hall, we got Kenneth Walker III, we got Isaiah Spiller, right? And then after that, it's kind of up in the air. You got Kyron Williams out of Notre Dame. You got Zamir White, like. Who else? Oh, Damian Pierce out of Florida.
The two Georgia guys.
James Cook from Georgia that's going to be a dude.
Yeah. No, he's a stud.
One of the Vikes, come on, get the family together. Got to do that. Take James.
Yeah, that would be fun. James Cook, man, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Like, he is explosive. Jerrion Ely out of Ole Miss. Rashad White out of Arizona State. Tyler Algier out of BYU.
Jerome Ford, Cincy. Don't overlook him.
Yeah, he's down there a little bit, but
Scuzz,
that dude was a stud with no offensive line.
Yep.
And
I was just about to say that.
True. Kennedy Brooks out of Oklahoma.
Natty's got another defensive back in this draft, right?
Yeah.
They had
Toby Bryant.
But I don't know that guy's like questionable draftable, right?
No, he's rated as like a second, third round guy.
Oh shit! Okay. All
right.
I thought it was a day 3 guy.
But dramatically lower than Sauce, right?
Yeah.
Yes, way down there.
Is it Bryant? Something Bryant?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant.
Still getting two DBs drafted for a school like Cincinnati is a big fucking deal.
So you've still got Andrew Booth, and then the one that I think is going to go, like, it might surprise some people, is Roger McCreary out of Auburn. I mean, he was a lockdown dude last year against everybody. Like,
are we talking about running back still?
No, I switched over to corners.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
Kobe
sorry.
Bryant. Yeah,
I missed that transition.
What about Tyler Gordon from Washington? The other Washington
Kyler Gordon's going to go somewhere. But the kid from Auburn locked down Burks this year. He locked down Jamison Williams. I mean, every big-time wide receiver that he went against, like, he was shutting them down.
Why is Cam Taylor-Britt listed as a corner? Didn't he play safety for Nebraska?
Yeah.
He played some weird hybrid role.
Yeah, they used him a lot.
He was a hybrid. Yeah, he was just a defensive back. So he played more snaps as a corner. But, you know, E. Arbo jumped in and said Purdy to the USFL.
Maybe.
I
he could
mean,
be a good. Yeah, I mean,
XFL.
but he could be, probably would be a good fit.
Darion Kendrick, the cornerback out of Georgia. That's an interesting one. So he's the one that had all the legal issues and left Clemson. Josh Jobe from Alabama, Alante Taylor from Tennessee, Martin Emerson from Mississippi State.
Armour Davis from Alabama too.
Yeah, Jalen Armour Davis. That's yeah. He was hurt all last year. Let's see. We got any kickers that are going to go? Oh, Dicker the kicker. Okay. Cade York.
Cade York.
What about wide receivers left? Who we got left? Pickens.
Pickens is probably the most interesting one, maybe followed by Watson.
Yeah, Watson, then Sky Moore.
Mechie.
Alec Pierce. So Alec Pierce played for Cincinnati. Was like surprisingly explosive for a wide receiver playing in Cincinnati. Like we've been tearing our hair out because his dad went to Northwestern. Apparently, he wanted to go Northwestern. Like it's kind of like fucking crazy that Northwestern wasn't interested in him. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. There's some pedigree there, but
Jalen Tolbert is one to watch from South Alabama. Him and Calvin Austin III from Memphis. Both of those dudes, like Calvin Austin, he's only 5'8", but he can fly. Jalen Tolbert, however, is he's a stud. He's 6'1", 194. And
what about how would you line those guys up against Mechie?
I mean, Mechie's fast, but he is not as fast as Calvin Austin. Mechie, he's got the pedigree. He's got he played in Saban's offense for 4 years. 3 years. He's just a stud. He's an incredible route runner. He knows how to get open. He's the most targeted guy on the team the last 2 years. And that's over. I take that back. He was right behind Devontae Smith last year. But Mechie's good, but he's not a game breaker. He's going to be a good number 2 somewhere.
Is anyone surprised Justin Ross is so far down on the wide
receiver?
I
was just looking at him
the medical issues.
Yeah, it's just a long and winding road for him.
Yeah, he had that heart issue.
He was so good as a freshman, right?
Yeah. He's technically listed as a junior, but he's, that was the January 2019 championship game where he kind of showed out, and then he didn't do anything the next, 2 years. So, he was out for the 2020 season.
I was just going to say, how much is that because he didn't get to play with Trevor Lawrence again?
Well, no, he did get to play with Trevor Lawrence again. He played the 2019 season with Lawrence and wasn't great.
Oh, I see. You're saying January 2019.
It was the 2018 season when they won that national championship.
That he was so fantastic.
Yeah. He was just making one-handed grabs in that national title game.
He was bonkers.
Chris and I were watching that and what in the world? He was making those guys look like fools out there. No, Justin Ross, it's not because he didn't, he obviously had good quarterback play. I think the expectation was just so high. Coming off of that national championship performance, nobody could live up to that. And so, he played in 10 games last year, 47 receptions, 524 yards, 3 TDs. But he's got, the good size and everything.
His average is not. He was over 20 yards per catch in 18, and he's not sniffed even
no.
15 yards per catch since, right?
Well, partly because he had the heart issue and had to sit out an entire season. They thought he might not even play. Or no, it wasn't a heart issue. It was a spinal issue, wasn't it? It was something crazy. They were saying he might not play again. And then he came back and played last year, and now he's in the draft. So
yeah, he had neurological. Just took a long time for him to come back.
Jalen Naylor. He came out early. Huh.
Talk about a raw player.
Yeah.
Who's got like some real speed, some real like potential traits, but raw.
Yeah. He's definitely raw. Tyquan Thornton, the kid from Baylor, he's 6'2", 181, had 62 receptions for 948 yards. That's over 15 yards per reception, had 10 touchdowns, and he's the one that ran like a 4.24 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I can go for a long time on those combine 40 times this year.
Yeah, Chris, we talked a lot about that, didn't we?
I'm not
40 times being all wrong.
Yeah. I'm not reading anything into those 40s this year.
But hang on, those weren't official 40 times. Like those were
NFL
reported.
Network. Yeah,
and then the next couple of days, the official times came out, and they were substantially lower. Just
watching a lot of guys where it was like, go, and they had it, and just being like, somehow they've all figured it out. Yeah. Not reading a lot into that.
Oh,
don't
man.
Don't they have like the little chips on their shoes, though? And that's what the official times are, right?
That's how they get the official times. It takes a couple of days for them to get all that data.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking at the Sharp football analysis the mock draft from Brendan Donahue, who has been the #1 most accurate mock drafter over the past 5 NFL seasons. He had everybody in the first round that ended up going except for Kyler Gordon, Malik Willis, and Boy Mafa.
Interesting.
He nailed 29. Now, he didn't have them all in the right spot, obviously, but
He had Mafe going in the first round. Interesting.
yeah, he had him going to the Chiefs.
All right.
Which would have made sense, I guess. But
Fucking
no, he
Palace
missed one other one. He missed Logan Hall, defensive lineman from Houston, going to the Bucks. So that could be somebody to look out for the Bucks.
At 33.
Yeah.
It's interesting between that and then hearing your boy McKinnon talk about wanting Mafe. And it's just like, I mean, we watched so much Minnesota, and I was just like,
well, he didn't stand out.
He was good. I'm just like, all of these defensive ends / just rushers, just pass rush guys, and we saw them all, and there were a lot of good ones. But I mean, there was definitely a pecking order, and he was not at the top of it.
No. Now, he the reason why everybody likes him is because of his combine stuff. Like he was ranked 4th or better among all defensive linemen at the combine in the 40-yard dash, the vertical jump, and the broad jump.
Yeah, and guess what? You don't play football in shorts.
Exactly.
Really?
Underwear Olympics.
Yeah.
Last I checked, I don't know.
Mel Kiper has Mafe going number 35 to the Jets, and that was before the first round. CBS Sports has him number 46 to the Vikings.
I just saw the tweet that you quoted there. The video shot of the Rams.
Did you listen to it?
I did, of the Rams brass, specifically the head coach reacting to the Patriots pick of Bernard from Chattanooga. I mean, it was like
he said, "Hell, we were scouting him, thinking he would be there at 104."
Wow.
They might have had a couple. Took back a couple beers tonight as they're watching the first draft without a pick.
Fuck Sean McVay.
It took until the very end of this.
Tell us how you really feel.
Put together some friends and family super team.
It's Bill climbing inside his head.
If the video of the Vikings staff last year when the Jalen Reagor pick was made was like a muted reaction, this was
pretty aggressive.
A lot more.
This is openly making fun of another team, which that part of me respects the move.
You love it. You love it. You just hated it this year too.
I hate him so bad.
Scuzz, this popped into my head, not to dig into old wounds, but Would the
Oh Lord.
Well, the Vikes picking. Wait, so the Vikes.
That's exactly what I say when I'm about to dig into somebody's old wound.
Who had 32? Was it the Vikes?
Yeah.
Vikings had 32.
So what if the Vikes didn't get their pick in on time? What happens?
Nothing.
They have infinite.
They basically have until tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Yeah. So they
because based on past experience, what I can tell you is the clock opens, but it doesn't close.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that like you lose the pick after a certain time. It's just that somebody else can go ahead of you.
Yeah.
So like, could a team like drag the first round of the draft out like indefinitely?
Sure. Theoretically.
Well, not indefinitely. Tomorrow at 7, the second round is going to open, and the next pick is going to become available.
Oh my gosh, someone has to do that. That'd be incredible.
It would be a pretty unbelievable move to
be the
32nd
hours.
No, I wouldn't even do it for. Oh God, yeah. What if you just waited until like 6 a.m.?
Oh,
that'd be something.
Just constantly, just
2 a.m. news dump.
Every 10 or 15 minutes, have a guy like walk toward the podium and be like, "Oh, I think it might be no."
Yeah. You just fake them, or the funniest thing would be to call them like every couple of hours or whatever, and like they're all excited about the pick and just like ask a random question.
Right.
Good
and
Lord.
then just like have the cut to the war room every now and then. There's guys just sleeping,
taking a nap. They know who they're gonna take. They just don't want to tell anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be the biggest FU to Roger Goodell and
that would be
in the league. Oh, maybe the Commanders do that next year. They trade back in for the 32nd pick just to do it, just to piss off Roger.
Trading in to do it.
That would be the best. Well, we traded for the pick, but we're not really sure who we're going to take, so we're going to sleep on it.
Right.
We're going to sleep on it.
Oh, God.
Are y'all ready to call it a night?
Yeah.
Sleeping on it.
It's been 4 hours. Let's sleep on this draft. Good Lord. All right. Gentlemen, head over to westlotpirates.com. That is where you can find their podcast, etc., or you can just go to your favorite podcast app. Type it in, Westlot Pirates. And if you're watching the feed, you can see it right up there at the top. We've also got it in the description for the Winning Cures Everything podcast. If you're listening on the Westlot Pirates pod, which I don't know if you boys are posting this or not, but
all
right. So if you're listening there, you can find us, winningcureseverything.com. Very easy to do. Gentlemen, any last words? Anybody want to jump in?
Good night.
Yeah, I wasted a heck of a lot of volume. Chris is gone. Mic drop.
That's perfect. All right, gentlemen.
It's because we gave him shit about the Patriots, but awesome
it
times.
happens.
Good job, everyone.
All right, yeah, take it easy.
All right, take it easy.
Night, boys.
Night.
Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter.